One.
Hello and welcome. We are Appalachian Dragons, where me and my favorite backwoods bastards get together, and we love to play some Dungeons and Motherfucking Dragons.
Degrins.
And dungeons.
Tonight we are on session 16, I think,
Yes, sir.
of our latest campaign, Tyranny of Flagons. Before we dive in, just a couple of quick things. Next week we will not be playing, as we have multiple conflicts. Me and Devin instead will be fighting to the death
For the fate of the
fate
universe.
humanity. Yeah, of course, like you do. If
Oh, baby.
the next couple of weeks with the holidays and stuff might get a little funky too, but we'll try to keep you updated as best we can. We also have some brand new music to hit our channels. Brandon, why don't you tell us a little bit about that, my dude?
The Lords of Nightstone Cometh has officially dropped a new battle track inspired by the Lords of Nightstone. And then also some 3 ambient tracks, 2 of which hopefully we'll hear tonight, Walking Through the Nine Hells, and an additional tavern type theme song. All available on Spotify, YouTube Music, wherever you get your music from. We're everywhere.
I'm gonna pump this up because I do have one playing in the background right now. Some very tense tones. I'm loving it. As a friendly reminder, we have all of our music available on Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, and on Spotify at least we have, I think, SoundCloud as well. We have curated playlists. So if you want something just for ambient music in a town, or if you want some battle music or boss battle music, we have some of those set up for you to make it easy to integrate our own music into your game at home. Without further ado, we'll talk about what happened last week. The Lords of Nightstone, after finding their way through the Hellgate and wandering through Avernus, eventually arrived to Harriman's Hill, a horrific feature that jutted over the river Styx, lined with black metal trees, each of which bore the crucified and mutilated body of a knight of Lathander or Tyr or Helm, gods of light and justice. The party met at the peak of this hill a vampire by the name of Yondar, and he informed them that they were the Hell Riders, that a cavalry of powerful paladins, knights, and clerics were gathered together and led by Zariel the Archangel through the Hellgate to battle the devils and demons on their home turf, hoping to drive them back and allow them a bit of respite in the material plane. The plans seemed to work great for a while until the Hell Riders had defeated so many of the devils that the demons were sort of unchecked and began to overwhelm them. As this happened, a third of the Hell Riders fell, and another third routed, leaving that final third to suffer and perish in the hells. This was complicated by the fact that Davos, in particular, was recognized by Yondar Sunstone because he was able to determine that he called you by your father's name. Your father was one of the Hell Riders, as well as Lord Amorous. Fuck you, shitty camera. As well as Lord Amorous, your mentor and trainer. Pointing to Amorous, who was pinned to a tree nearby, Davos learned that his father and Lord Amorous had gone on several tours with the Hell Riders, and his father had decided to quit after he had met and fell in love with Davos's mother. Unfortunately, on the final run is when things went south. Those who fled were labeled as traitors, and Zariel, though she fell as an archangel, somehow became the ruling archduchess of the first layer of hell, Avernus. As such, she had a special place in her heart for all of these all these miserable traitors, and wanted them to be put on display, made an example of, if you will. After navigating their way through there, the party, Davos actually mercifully slew Lord Amorous to put him out of his eternal suffering, spurring up the anger of Haruman and the Narzagon. They rode in, and the party began a bitter conflict, but were able to defeat Haruman as well as one of the knights and their steed. But the third and final knight disappeared into the ethereal plane and galloped away toward a flying fortress some miles away. The party was informed that this was Zariel's ship, a vicious infernal machine that was armed to the teeth with powerful weapons and manned by likely hundreds of devils. An absolute city in the sky, as it were. The party then met a new friend, sort of, in Morningstar, Redskin Tiefling, former character of our own player Ben, who told them that he was sort of impressed with their skills, and after a little bit of conversation, found that he could probably help them if they could help him get the hell out of here, as it were. The party agreed, and he led them to to Bell's Forge, the iron foundry that had been crafted into the cliff face of this volcano, and met with Bell himself, the former Archduke of Hell. After a brief conversation with what their goals were, trying to get the Red Dragon Mask, he decided that he might help them if they could prove themselves competent, and sixed two of his fire giant slaves upon them. The party had a conflict with them, as well as some of the chain devils that got caught in some of the AoE. And right before they could execute the first one, Bell called off the attack, the chains stopping Davos' sword in mid-swing. None too happy about that. Bell was able to tell them that he can not only get them in, but provide them with the means of distraction. He told them that there is, in the lowest level of the Maw, a thing known as the Everlost, a very special prison crafted for Baphomet, the demon lord, lord of beasts, if you will. He told them that if they were to release this unspeakable evil, that it would cause enough chaos to distract many of the guards and draw attention away, as they could more effectively manage Lord Enmity without his legions of backup. The party also then discussed the nature of their deal, and he said that if any of them strike down Enmity, that he will, free of charge, provide them with a few other assistance. He and recognized the blade that Davos wielded, the Bard's Dance Rapier, formerly the Devil's Dance Rapier, as he was the one who crafted it hundreds of years ago for Azazel. He admired the purification in a way and told him that any blade could be improved with the right stress. And then pointed to Davos's own sword, the Blade of Knight Erebor, his father's sword. Told him that through a bit of intense infernal energy and intense radiant energy, they could empower it to be stronger than it ever was before. Davos agreed, and the two of them went hard at work, clashing back and forth with their smites, and Davos just barely eking out the higher damage output and influencing the blade in his direction. He received the Blade of Absolution, very fitting, as he is hoping to, by killing Lord Enmity, free his father's soul from his debt to Zarya. And that, my dudes, is where we left off on Day of Flagons. And we're back. Before we begin, I do want to say two quick things. The first is a bit of a content warning. This episode might be particularly gruesome. We are infiltrating a prison in the Hells, and as such, it is not a happy place. So just a general warning for body horror. I also want to say that I was very pleased when I was listening to last week's session with Arcanox and Davos's smack talk, and I've decided
Mm.
to verbalize this as it'll help all of us be a little more inspired. If you choose to take a moment to say something in character in combat, you might receive inspiration if I think it's, mic drop worthy. So keep that in mind as we roll through combat.
Prepare for all the suckets.
Yeah, might be a little more eloquent than that, but excellent. And now, as we resume, I'm going to shift us back to Bell's Forge, where we technically are. Bell stands before you, your gathered party, and says that I'm going to do my best to provide you with what information I can. The more you know about the Maw, the better your chances of success. You should know that it's divided up into 4 levels. The first level, the mouth of the Maw, is the exterior. Guards on the outside. You don't have to think it like that. As you draw near to the Maw, a Rakshasa typically manning the gate, although there will be several other guards. You, Tabaxi, as you are disguised as a Rakshasa, will probably be the best one to speak to him. But he's probably going to want to speak in Infernal. I would be prepared for that.
Well, yeah, because I don't speak Infernal.
You're going to have to find a way to talk your way in. You can try to pretend to be buying a prisoner or bringing one in, or present a deal with the enmity, but it's going to have to be a pretty convincing offer to get his attention. And again, as your friend here appears to be a pit fiend, you might be able to try to bully your way in on a rank alone, but that might only work on the first level or 2. As you descend into the Maw, you'll come to level 2, known as the Gum. So called for the thousands of lemures that congeal to the walls. This is where the lower level prisoners are kept, mortals and minor extraplanar annoyances. Beneath that, the teeth. Devils on these levels will be able to see through your seeming, so you'll have to be a little more cunning in your approach. This is where they keep the high security prisoners, powerful targets from other planes. And beneath that, the pit. This is where the highest level threats are kept. Baphomet will be here in the Everlost. You'll need to enter into it, find the portal within the maze, and if any of the 6 of you pass through with the keys, you can cast everyone out of the Everlost, stirring up a great deal of trouble. I should warn you though, Baphomet is wild and unpredictable. Don't expect him to cooperate. He's going to lash out at whatever he can. This is, of course, where enmity will lie, with his personal guard and, of course, Rancor. You should exercise caution. If you stir up trouble too soon, you're liable to be overwhelmed. You must do whatever it takes to get as deep as you can, as quick and undetected as you can. I think Morningstar will turn to you all and go, I heard you guys talking about some targets that you want to spring. You mentioned a tiefling and an angel? Not all at once.
We do believe they have a solar that we need to speak with.
Bell kind of cocks his head. That will likely be on one of the lower levels, at least level 3, if not the very pit where you'll find enmity in.
It's that strong. Oh my.
Solars are quite formidable. Every bit as powerful as pit fiends.
Oh, that was easy shits.
You say.
There were 6 of us in one of it, but he won't mention that part.
Yeah. No, you don't have to. He knows. That was his right-hand man you killed.
I believes Dawnbringer is searching for a tieflings. I don't know if he's trapped at work or just on mute.
I was trying to think of what tiefling?
Oh, Integrity. This is going back a few weeks. Integrity, the yellow-skinned tiefling, was one of the ones that you dispatched to the Shriekwood. This is a person who, there were the three Knights of the Dawnfather who came to Nightstone years ago, but he was one of them that had stayed in your service and had proved himself quite useful. You had dispatched him to the Shriekwood, and he was captured rather than found dead. You believe that Enmity has him specifically. Enmity seems to have a certain fondness for breaking those who are devout. I imagine he'll be on one of the upper levels. Normally the mortals are kept in the gums, perhaps.
Did you say Integrity is his name?
Yes.
And he's being punished for not having integrity?
No, he's being punished because he probably refused to yield. The devils that were in the Shriekwood that killed most of the Knights of the Aster, his body was not found among them. And you found out that he was taken. And this is your best bet as to where he might be.
Gotcha.
Bell will take a moment to say, you are understandably weary from my trial. You're welcome to rest here as you need. I want to ensure that you have the best chance of success.
So what about this portal and these keys?
Each of you has a token, and he will hold one of them up that he passed out to each of you. And it's just a metal medallion, probably about 3 inches across, and it's just a metal outline of a maze. But as you look at it and try to focus on it, the paths just shift constantly. He's saying that if you go through the portal bearing one of these, that it will release those who are imprisoned within it. The portal itself will always manifest far away from Baphomet, trying to do its best to keep him trapped within. Your job will be trying to track it down while not getting lost yourself, or eaten.
So we want to release Baphomet.
It's as a distraction so that we can then go kill Enmity, who's apparently in the bottom level as well in the pit. Did I understand that correctly from the previous session?
Yeah. Bill will say there are likely some 50 fiends within the maw. It is a very highly guarded location, and these are powerful guards, not your run-of-the-mill. Releasing Baphomet will provide you with an opportunity to have enmity to yourself, as it were. Of course, you could always try to release something else to stir up trouble, but I think that will be the best distraction you can ask. An unbridled demon lord who's been long spurned is a hell of an adversary.
Did float the idea of letting Tiamat out. Supposedly he has to come out to fight Tiamat, but then, Tiamat's out.
And then you have to get away. Have you ever witnessed her?
Well, of course not. Those.
She is quite the sight. Several hundred feet tall. And her breath extends for what feels like miles.
That's a huge bitch.
Thank you, Deuce Bigelow, European Gigolo. Oh my god. Wow, I forgot about that movie.
I'd say like this description Arcanauts' like scales kind of like flare and stand on him for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Did you always do that?
He is colossal. Certainly the biggest thing y'all have ever fought by a pretty healthy margin. Which brings me to another point. Enmity is a worm speaker, and as such, he will have a draconic ally, but no mere dragon. Rancor. was one of the first of Tiamat's children, older than humanity itself. His scales were already ancient when the giants and the dragons started their war millennia ago. When he finally died, some 700 years or so, he was the largest dragon on the material plane, the title now beholden to Cloth. When Enmity became the Red Worm Speaker, he somehow convinced Tiamat to entrust him with Rancor's soul. It's been Enmity's guard dog ever since.
Kind of wish you would have told me this before I agreed to kill it.
But where's the fun in that?
Or Goldburn kind of nudges Ark and nudges him with the elbow. We should make a helmet out of its skull for you.
You could all fit within its skull.
The whole armor, then. That's what Goldburn hears. I like that. Great, thanks. Okay. And it's gonna be with him. Okay. What do you know about
all the worms?
Oh, never mind. Zariel has the swords. Not the Duke. Is the Duke or Zariel? It's got the swords. They got names.
Advice or tips? Chinks in the armor? Black holes beneath its rib cage or anything?
To answer these, I believe the blades you're referring to are Scorn and Fury.
Yeah.
Yes, those are enmities.
Okay.
Zariel has a sword of her own, though it's repulsed by her at the moment. As she's in her fiendish form, the celestial blade will refuse her. She spent a good bit of time trying to track it down in the Hells, but it's always rather elusive. As for chinks in the armor, you're going to have to be very cunning. Enmity is a spiteful sort. If you get him riled up, he's likely to make a mistake. But with the dragon mask, he is a formidable enemy.
I bring a mask of my own.
Cunning is not Goldbrand's strong suit.
Nor yours, I would wager.
It's funny, because my brain is sitting here, when he said formidable enemy, I'm over here biting my tongue, trying not to say, you mean like your fire giants?
Oh, no. No, these are, smiths at best.
We could tell.
You say that, and one of them kind of looks over his shoulder at you. He kind of goes back to grinding his sword on the grindstone.
Stronger than me, motherfucker.
To be fair, you have magical assistance, if I'm not mistaken.
I do. That's true.
You're wearing our belt, motherfucker.
I'm just saying, man. Like, ask him. I was telling that giant to ask Gully what happened to the last flying fortress he visited.
Did we crash? I know we killed the shit out of her. I don't remember crashing.
You did kill her, yeah. You didn't crash the ship, but or the city, as it were.
Speaking of fortresses that fly, what is in the one out there's?
Zariel, of course. That is her personal infernal war machine. Practically a city of stone and steel in the sky.
City. So it's very big. Okay.
It's very big. Gonna back up just 1 second. Arcanox, as you sort of taunt the Jotun, he will say, you said that you were the beast of Hecate. Is this true?
Don't know why we'd lie about that. We've personally visited his port numerous times.
You know what this is. Goldbrand wants to show him the conch.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you still have those. Y'all collected them, but I imagine they were given back to the Jotun lords afterward. You do all possess some type of brand from the Storm King in various forms. A gift that you all received from him. If you were to display that, the Jotun would sort of nod his head. Shut up, David.
It's not my fault.
I uncertainly start unbuckling my belt.
Well, how will I be able to read something so tiny?
It's normal for human form.
Goldbrand behind Davos.
Oh, normal. Okay. Yeah, that's what all the ladies want. A normal penis. He looks to Arcanox and sort of goes, The Storm King was wise. When I was slain, it was, well, he was captured. I had heard of his release, but did not know that you were the ones to do so. A gift to the Storm King's champions. And Arcanoxy hands you a rune. It seems to be almost like a fire opal, tones of red speckled with yellow and orange, and a Jotun rune carved into the front of it. Arcanox, if you will add to your inventory, Opal of the Huron rune. H-R-A-U-N. You type in Opal, that should get it for you. I will drop it here so you can see spelling. This is something that this particular type of giant uses, the Forge Caller, as they're called. In the combat, he actually conjured up a wave of magma and blasted some of you with it. This is what allows him to do some of that cool stuff. It does require attunement, but if you want to not have to attune to it, you can inscribe it on a weapon or a piece of armor to gain gain some of those benefits. I'll let you look that over for a second. As
would magma be effective in this dungeon?
The fire damage is not likely to be your friend. Bell is literally standing, calf deep. Granted, he's probably pushing 15 feet tall, so 3-4 feet of magma and seems unbothered by it. That may not be the best offensively here, but if nothing else, I imagine it'll provide you with some advantageous conditions.
Yuan, can you turn it into ice magma?
That's just rocks.
Avalanche?
While we are taking this moment, I will also remind you guys that you do have, you've fought enough dragons to know that frightened is a big issue with them, and you do have the materials for a hero's feast. If someone would like to either A, cast it, or B, use one of your scrolls for it.
I think I have it.
I think I can. Don't have it. I think I can prepare it, so we could just use the materials instead of the scroll. That being said, I'll probably have to switch it for plane shift, and if y'all want me to keep that, I will.
I would recommend having any type of teleportation magic in the back pocket. Once you stir things up, it might be better to blip out rather than try to fight your way back to the mall.
Oh, he's not as dumb
I
as
do
he
have
looks.
Hero's Feast.
Okay. You can cast it then if you want to.
Yeah, if you have a spell slot, you can cast it today and then get your full rest because it lasts for 24 hours.
I will do that. 6th level spell, my only slot. Done.
Yeah, go ahead and roll the extra hit points that y'all get for that. I'll go ahead
It
and add that
says
to everybody.
2d10, so that was 13. Did it pop up and roll 20?
I did not see it, but 13 is good. Everyone can add 13 to your maximum hit points. Also, take the time to go ahead and hit that long rest button, as well as that like and subscribe button. Yeah, there it is. Barbara's good about that.
I try and catch you before you do it, but my brain doesn't process as fast because you've already got it planned out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I didn't have that planned, but...
At least you try to steal it from him, because there's nowhere for me to put a green highlight for the DM. Works out.
Oh, how many HP was that? 13?
13.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I don't have to fill in 2 tokens. What's going on here?
So, you have the keys to release Baphomet. You have a guide who can sort of help get you discreetly in. But what you do while you're in there to remain undetected or unnoticed is going to be up to you. So as you're swapping spells, if you are one who may be able to do that, you might want to keep that in mind.
Stop. Don't talk about spells. The bane of my existence.
Let's see. Rune Heroes Feast. Yeah, I think we're all good there. Anything else before y'all embark on your trek?
Corbin has something he wants to talk about, but he wants to wait till they leave the forge.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right. Before we start, Joey.
Yeah.
I think reading over that opal, I kind of want to transfer it to my armor. That sounds dope as hell.
Yeah, for sure.
During that long rest.
Yeah, let me look at that real quick. Because it does take 8 hours, which you can do over the long rest. So you would have resistance to fire and cold. You already have resistance to fire, so you have immunity, which is nice. And then you can use the smoke and cinders feature described above. I will put that on your character sheet at another time. Somebody will. I'll drop it in the bag of holding notes.
That random roll was for my Wheeler Woe.
Fantastic. Oh, as all of you take a long rest in the hells, I need everyone to roll a wisdom save. I'm going to confirm that.
Look at you wise motherfuckers.
We're dumb, but we're wise.
Yeah. It's all the battles.
Not me. I got a 9.
Is this roll technically before long rest or after long rest?
This is technically during the long rest. I would say before anything has been refreshed.
Okay, because I want to use a lucky point. See if I can roll higher.
Where did that spell go? I was literally just reading.
One of you is about to get a message.
I wonder who.
That's a good point. I forget I didn't ask for private rolls. At least you won't know what to spell.
If it's relevant, we are immune to frighten and poison.
While Joe is getting up to DM shit, I would like to float the idea. I just found that I have a spell called Planier Binding. Long story short, they have to make a charisma save, but if they fail the charisma save, they have to do what I say. It's sort of like a charm monster sort of deal. You kind of like bind the will of a celestial or a fiend to your service. I could take that spell if we wanted to try that to like get someone, like take over someone and be like, lead us inside or something.
Yeah.
I don't know how well it would work. There's probably lots of holes to be poked in that plan, but I thought I would float it while I was reading this spell.
This is very fitting in a number of ways.
If we have multiple items that give us resistance to poison damage, would it increase that resistance to negate?
No. However, I am looking at doing that in the future. I haven't done that in the past, but that is one of the things I put in my DM binder the other day. If you have 2 stacks that you would get immunity. If you have 3 stacks, you would get absorption, which means you would take you ignore the damage and then regain half of the hit points it would have dealt.
Yeah, the absorption's fine.
One more thing, and then we can go. Sorry. All right. So, you have added to your hit points. You have been informed of the nature of the prison that you're heading into. I believe we are good to go. As you awaken, Morningstar takes out a pendant and he rubs his thumb across it 3 times. And each of you takes on the form that you had chosen previously. Golbran, a Barb's Devil, Ark, a Pit Fiend, Davos, a Corrupted Craven, Pandora, a Rakshasa. Himself, instead of going the red Abashi, which is something that's more aligned with Tiamat, he slips into a Horned Devil. Yuan, you become an Ice Devil, which is an insectoid sort of light white, pale blue entity that we chose for you because it kind of looks like Randy. And he's got a little cowboy hat that nobody knows why.
Nice.
I'm going to jump us to the map here. You are quite a ways away from the Maw. I'll show you here. You were all here at Bell's Forge. Here's Harmon's Hill, where you were previously. And we are going to make our way to the Maw.
Downtown, walking fast.
Faces pass, and you are hellbound.
Do.
I just need like
Carrie,
screams
Carrie
and like
when you need him.
you as you do this, I'm going to need everyone to make 3 Constitution saves with the DC of 11, 12, and 13, respectively.
Well, I got 2 15s, so there's that. One more. And an 8.
Really?
I'll pass them all to save you time.
I see that Goldbrand failed too.
I failed 1.
I failed the first. Did I
What was
roll
that?
the other 2?
I love that.
Devin,
Pass
take
the
2.
second.
Devin, take 2 points of exhaustion for me. Barbara, take 1.
Exhaustion.
I just failed the first one. That's it.
Okay, take 1 point of exhaustion.
Right.
What does it even mean?
So with 1 point of exhaustion, you have disadvantage on ability checks, such as stealth or deception or persuasion. With 2, Devin also has his speed halved, which is pretty rough. You may choose to amend some of these effects before you arrive, as it will not be in your favor if you are fighting while drained. Oh, speaking of, I've got to do Morningstar. He passes all 3. Fantastic. Great job, Ben.
Good.
I think I have something. Let me look.
I think a greater restoration can heal exhaustion. Lesser restoration might also be able to. Let me see here. I will also allow lesser restoration does not. Greater restoration is a 4th level, if I'm not mistaken. 5th level. So here's what I would say. Those of you who have Lay on Hands, if you would like, I will allow you to use 50 points, which is a lot. If you have 50 points of Lay on Hands, I will allow you to heal a level of exhaustion. That is... Actually, let me look up what Cure Disease is real quick.
Well, I'm out. I only got 15.
I got 30, so we only had like 45.
I will amend that to 25. 5 uses, or 5 segments of 5 is how I'm going to rule that, looking at lesser restoration. So if you want to use 25 points to alleviate one of the points of exhaustion, you may, or you can cast a greater restoration. Or if anyone has any other means to get rid of those. Otherwise, I'll give it a rough patch with half of you exhausted.
If you want to save the spell slots, I do have enough for that one.
At least reducing 1 level will help with, well, no, because ability checks are the first level, so...
Yeah. It will prevent his speed from being halved, which is pretty shitty.
I do get a free use of Greater Restoration due to my Lathander's Chosen.
You do, yes.
Look at
So I will use one of those for Goldbrand.
Okay, so now Ark, Davos, and Pandora, Goldbrand, and Davos all have 1 level of exhaustion. Who is going to get that Lay on Hands, Arcanox?
If you'll allow a joint Lay on Hands, I would contribute my 15 for it.
He has enough to do... Oh, well, I mean, if you want to work that out amongst yourselves, I would allow that, yeah.
So that would give us 2.
25
20?
points is what you would
25?
need to, yeah. So who do you use?
So we would only... Yeah. I think we need the tabaxi for some sneaking.
That is a good point.
I'm trying to think what else, if there was anything else.
I also think it's a good choice.
All right.
A lot of her
Sound
kit depends on her ability to do checks like that, or the rest of us have spells and things like that that wouldn't necessarily be effective.
That's a good point.
Pandora gets it.
I wasn't going to suggest it.
Get you 5
I'll,
HP.
since I have other healing, I'll give you all 15 of my lay on hand, so you only have to use 10 arc.
Very nice. As you guys patch yourselves up a bit, you finally arrive at the
Hang on 2 seconds. I said Goldberg has something that he wanted, but he wanted to wait. On the way, I like to think it's while he's failing these con checks, so he's like panting to death, you know, sweating to death, panting, ash in his mouth, all that fun stuff. Through a mouthful of ash, Goldberg's like, "Does anyone else have reservations about Bell's plan?"
No more than any other plan.
It didn't sound like a plan.
Does it not seem suspicious that he sends us to the thing that unleashes the most beings? Not just the demon gods. I don't think he was shy about revealing that we're going to let out several things. Things that might be able to come right into the material planes. I'm just saying I'm not certain that we're not being led astray.
I hear you. But if it's at the cost of dying, like, isn't that why we would let them go so they don't attack us? Or am I misreading that?
If we let the Bahamut go, Goldberg doesn't know who Bahamut is, there might be enough things here to stop him. We let several Bahamuts go. Who knows how long it is before they level this plane and come out the gates back over there.
I think Morningstar will chime in. So, like, the whole realm of Avernus is constantly at war with demons. That's not exactly unfamiliar territory. The whole reason they're imprisoned there is because they were captured when they tried to come through the River Styx. They, like any other demon, like any other demon or devil, can't freely leave hell. There's certain loopholes that there's certain hoops you have to jump through, as it were. Hence why.
I like how you're stuck here.
Exactly. Yeah.
What do you know about this endless maze? No, that's not what he called it. Then
the Everlost. I mean, I've only heard about it in I've only ever heard about it in passing. A shifting maze that keeps Baphomet constantly searching through it. I believe that there are other entities in it, but I believe they're all his followers, other ones that have been captured. No telling how many it could be. Could be 2 or 3, could be 50 for all I know.
Ark, Dawnbringer, do either of you know anything about this thing that we've proposed to unleash?
I will say, Brandon...
Baphomet?
Yes.
And not the Silver Dragon Bahamut. It doesn't sound like.
Yeah, but it's too. And I thought about this. I think I mispronounced it last week. What we are talking about is Baphomet. Think goat-headed, humanoid, minotaur-esque kind of thing. Bahamut, I think, is spelled like that, and that is the dragon god, the platinum god.
I see.
Should I roll an Arcana?
I will
or
allow
religion?
you to make a history or religion check. I will say, if it was a fiend, I would give you advantage. I'll just say a flat roll. I don't know if anyone else has ties strong enough to really know. I will allow you one.
Religion has never gone well.
In fact,
I got a 6.
You got a 6. Okay.
I just know he's got a goat head and he's scary AF.
Yeah. I'm gonna. I'm gonna message you.
Okay.
Oh.
Whispers. That's the old critical role thing. Whispers. Everyone had to make a bunch of noise because it was real whispers. Because playing in person sucks.
Whoops. I'm sorry. I'm trying to talk.
Sorry, I keep burp. Anyway, Gobrand's still on his horse
so
about
Josh,
this. Okay. This does not sound Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were...
He said, "Go ahead," and he started talking. You fuck. Josh can make a religion or an arcana check privately if you so choose.
Okay.
Private check.
That sounds bad. We had those in gym class. 14. I mean, the most you know about Bahamut is that he is the Lord of Beasts. He represents the feral nature in all of us, really. But those who worship him are often very primal and instincts driven. He is likely going to be not happy that he was contained, and therefore might have a little bit of an animosity toward enmity. Think of it as a bull in the matador, if you will. However, he will lash out at probably anything. It's a little bit of it's a risky plan, but the alternative is trying to infiltrate and kill enmity with all of his guards and the dragon. And that's a tall order. There are other things that Bell mentioned would be there. He doesn't know the exact roster of things that are bound within the pit, but you might be able to release something else.
I think I'd scratch my chin for a second while I was pondering that in my knowledge of him. And I would look around and I would say, well, it does seem a bit dangerous, doesn't it? But on the flip side of that, imagine releasing something a bit chaotic. It might lash out at you, but it might lash out at him or enemies. If we could direct it, give it somewhere to go to focus that anger. Well, he could be an incidental ally after all.
It kind of sounds like we need to hurry up and get to the portal. Wait. Not get to the portal if we want to keep him there, and just stay away from him. And let him whirling dervish, Tasmanian devil, everything.
So
except us.
He is in the Everlost where the portal is. You have to travel into the Everlost, find the portal to get everything currently contained out. That is what will release all of them into the pit of the maw. You do have the right idea that you don't necessarily, once you're in there, you don't want to fight it per se. Your goal is ultimately to have him in the best of condition to fuck with enmity, but getting away from him might prove difficult.
High risk, high
Can
reward.
he fly?
We can worry about.
Is there anything in that book about Baphomet flying?
Are you talking about the Book of Fiends or the Book of Vile Darkness?
Whatever's taking control of you on, I guess. Whichever one has that
the
info.
Book of Vile Darkness. And I'll say, Josh, you have an itch in the back of your mind that, yeah, there's lots of stuff about fiends and devils on here. You could probably find something. It's just if you decide it's worth it or not.
Ryan prepares his disappointed.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, I'll look at Davos for a second and I'll say, a man of God suggests that I chunk a piece of my soul into the ether. Tisk tisk.
Asterisk, again?
To be honest, Lonebreakers, of the 5 of us, there's only one of us that has made the deal with the major devils. Just want to get out.
Touche. It was for my dad, okay?
Goldberg would rather let all of his children die than make a deal with the Fae, let alone the devils.
I was sitting here like, I killed my father. No. I don't understand.
I'm gonna go pout in the corner because of y'all being right. What have I done?
Davos.
Speaking of, as you are trudging across this through a war-torn and barren landscape, through across tar pits and jagged ridges and fields of glass that are fields of grass that are as if bladed glass. It is just an absolute nightmare. You do encounter other fiends, none of which really give you the time of day. And Morningstar will tell you the seeming is going to be good enough to get us past the basic fiends. But the ones down below are going to be a little more insightful. We should try to think of a way to conceal ourselves as we go, if we can. You will be arriving at the mouth of the maw soon. Anything else before you arrive?
Is this where the guard is, or no?
You're coming up on it, yes.
Okay.
Still thinks we should let Tiamat out, but Devin doesn't think it's a good idea, so I'm going to hush about it.
I mean, you could certainly try.
I
don't mind to derail an entire dungeon to let you poke the bear.
We're being set up in some way, even if we can't figure out what it is. There's a reason he wants that thing out and not Tiamat, the easier target and arguably more destructive target to pull enmity out of there. I guess we have to fight enmity while he's fighting her. But there's motive.
I think so if Tiamat comes out, it's not just going to be enmity fighting it. You're talking quite a bit of fiendish attention.
Maximum chaos.
Zariel's airship, enmity and his dragon. Most of the fiends that are in the vicinity. Also,
I would have to fight Tiamat too. As for my oath.
There's also not the guarantee that Tiamat will be alone. You do know that there are several draconic-based fiends that are loyal to her. You'd essentially be having two armies clash and trying to kill the biggest thing on the map, while not getting caught in the explosions from everything else hurling fireballs.
I love it.
This is wonderful. I kind of want to make that.
Go hard or go home. We pull her out now, we kill her now, or we die trying. No, I'm just kidding. Goldbrand thinks that way. But
die historic.
Yeah.
What better place to die than hell?
Yeah, I'm already there. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I do no traveling or nothing.
Short trip. As you continue to make your way across the landscape, you eventually arrive at the maw. Rather, the mouth of the maw. You see a series of devils. This enormous gorge that seems as if cleaved through the earth itself has fiends swarming all about it. But as you approach, a few of them congregate to meet you. One of them, a Rakshasa. You see also a bone devil, as well as a horned devil, and a few Cambions. More than a modest force of fiends.
Sorry, before we get here, the reason I asked the question is because I'm going to cast a spell on Pandora.
Oh boy.
Yeah, fire away.
I'm going to walk over as we sort of start to see the group, but not where we're close enough where they can actually truly observe us. Put my hand on her shoulder, and I'm going to cast Tongues, which allows her to comprehend any language spoken to her and also allow anybody who can speak a language to understand her. I don't know if it would make it sound like she was speaking their language, but I want to feel like it would.
Very cunning. No, I will allow it.
And I'm going to look at her and say, hey, don't screw this up, pussycat.
All right, what lie are we going with then?
You're going to
I'm
talk
not the
us.
liar, you are.
Yeah, you're going to talk us in the first levels. We're going to see if maybe Ark can talk us into the second levels, and then I will try to bind one to me, one that can seize us. Yeah, I see your face. I know they're going to be fucking hard, but if we can get through the first two.
Well, I didn't account for this particular plan, so I love that.
Do y'all want me to go with? What's our story here? What's our shtick?
Oh, whatever you want.
Get us in.
Liars.
Goldberg didn't think that through him. You lie to get this in. What lie? I don't know. Just lie and get this in.
We aren't we? Didn't he say prisoners? We could be prisoners.
But we all look like fiends at this. They will think we look like other fiends.
Yeah, but fiends can be prisoners, right?
And Morningstar will say, I can drop the effects of this on one of you if it makes it easier.
If it indeed makes it easier.
I think so. I think y'all being prisoners is probably the best bet.
You just like wrapping us up.
Yeah, let's leave you and Ark, though. I want to keep Ark as a pit fiend because they're supposed to be fairly high up the pecking order. I think that could help us socially.
Yeah, well,
maybe
I'll
drop
do the
it on.
talking and Ark will do the yanking.
I don't know, man. I
So
kind of want to keep that
who's
seeming
going to
as long as possible.
who's going to be the prisoner or prisoners?
Not it.
I would say Golgren will be a prisoner because I don't think his demon is as high up the hierarchy as a pit fiend.
I can be a very persuasive prisoner.
Okay, no.
Even
Morningstar
better if y'all
Snap.
cry a little bit. Come on, throw a performance
Gonna
tear in there.
Pluck my eyelashes.
Nose hairs. That's the good one. The Morningstar will snap his fingers, and you watch as the illusion around Goldbrand and Davos, respectively, fades away, and you soon see your friends before you once more. He will say, "All right, so we've got prisoners. We're here to deliver them. You, me, and Ark should be able to talk our way through this well enough. Just don't be overeager. As it's a Raksasha at the gate, you should probably take point." He'll give you a little nudge, Barbara.
On it.
Hey, just thinking about the third level real quick that said they can see through our guises, perhaps even into our souls. Not to pick on you on here, but with his corruptedness, would that be something we could rely on, maybe?
Yuan's not even certain if he has a soul. I guess.
You can
Interesting point.
you can make a religion or a Arcana check, Davos.
All right, I'll try Arcana this time.
I'll allow this with advantage too, because I'm going to say you've read a lot of the book about fiends, and so you have a little bit more insight into their proclivities.
God, we should have put the
And,
white mask on him and be like, he's the worm speaker. He's just shorter all of a sudden.
The level of exhaustion effect? I can't remember. You said ability checks?
Yes, ability checks are at disadvantage. That is correct.
So having advantage would just flat roll?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
All right. That was for, hell yeah, 19.
19. You know, in fact, with a 19, I'll give you two things. One, Yuan's corrupted nature would make him a more believable figure in the Hells. A lich wandering the Hells is not unheard of, and they often have dealings with devils, so that's a little bit of a plus in a way. With a 19, you know that the book that you has, the Book of Vile Darkness, is a very powerful evil artifact, and in a pinch might be used as a bartering chip. You don't know what that'll mean for Yuan and the nature of his curse, but you know that there's some opportunity there. As you all approach,
I would relay that. Just say, hey, keep that in mind, Yuan, guys.
Yeah, it's not a bad backup plan if everything goes tits up.
Look around like, well, let's get through the front door first, and then we'll see where the road takes us.
That is the most charming ice devil I've ever heard in my life. Goddamn. As you guys approach, Raksasha will stretch his arms out wide and go. And it's particularly to Barbara. And in Infernal, will say, "Well, if you aren't a sight for sore eyes, welcome, friend. I am Jazirazad. What can we do for you?"
Hello, comrade. We are here to deliver these filthy prisoners, and I'll yank on the chain of, I guess, whoever I'm dragging along.
We'll say Davos. Now, let me ask you this.
Give him an extra hard yank, then.
I would definitely play along. Definitely playing along.
Are you giving him a stage yank or like an authentic yank?
I'm going to give him an authentic yank.
Yeah.
And I would...
Strength check, Barbara.
A strength check? Oh, boy.
Yeah, you're going to give you... You can give him a tug. You can...
Could I intentionally fail?
Give a performance. Or no, it's not going to be kind of like that. Brandon, you can give a performance check for me with disadvantage.
Because of the exhaustion.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
But your performance is pretty stout.
That's strength
Yes, it
save. You
is.
need a flat
So,
strength
28.
throw.
28. Barbara, you give what's honestly kind of a meager tug, and Brandon Davos like goes full to the floor, just and you know like he's like clutching his ribs and sort of wallowing a bit, and is overall giving a very good impression that y'all have beat the shit out of him, which helps. Or Sasha says, prisoners. Are these gifts to enmity? Are they being tried for certain crimes? Are they prisoners of Zariel? What are we talking about here?
They are prisoners of Zariel, of course. No trial, no need. Look at him. He's pitifully guilty.
Roll a deception check for me, Barb.
I'm gonna
I would
spit on him.
spit
while
at
he's
the
laying on
ground in front of her and call her a filthy feline.
I will also allow you to do this with advantage because you do appear to be a Raksasha. You might not need it though. 24 is pretty stout.
Yeah, 24 is
Fantastic.
what we got.
With the 24, if the Archduchess wishes it, then so be it. You can deliver them down to the first level. I don't imagine these are worthy of going much deeper than that. And he steps to the side.
Go deeper in your mom.
I'll give him a kick.
About to the Raksasha gives him a kick.
We both kick him. We're doing the JoJo kick.
Brandon, take take 9 points of bludgeoning damage as he kicks you in the ribs. Don't
Damn
worry.
it.
We will do wonders for that tongue. You might not have it by the end of the day.
Woo!
And
Might not have it by the time he gets down there.
Oh, it's always a pleasure when the cat gets the tongue. And he laughs and lets you all proceed down the stairwell.
I was so tempted to say something else, but I don't need to lose any more health.
Yeah. As you wander through and begin to descend this staircase, which is hundreds of feet, that it winds the edges of this maw, sort of like you're descending into the Grand Canyon. And as you're going down, it's just getting darker and darker and dimmer. And eventually you find there's this purple haze almost that seems to fill the air the deeper you go. Almost like one part smog, one part mist, but it's getting harder and harder to see until you can really only make out the steps immediately in front of you.
Until we can make out. Got you.
I need everyone to make a charisma saving throw for me.
Charisma.
Does this happen to be against being frightened?
No, sir.
Dang.
Well, no.
I love being a paladin.
That's at disadvantage.
This is a saving
no?
throw, so no, sir.
Oh.
Okay,
Yeah,
28.
Fantastic. Do I see? Oh, that's right. Yours popped up in your chat. Let me do one quick thing. Charisma saving throw. Ooh. Fantastic. As you're making your way down, Goldbrand, you're wandering down, and it's getting again harder and harder to see. You're really having to really focus on your way, when suddenly you hear a voice behind you, and you turn instinctively. And when you turn, your whole viewpoint shifts, and you are no longer on a staircase, but in a broad and bloody field, scattered across the ground are Uthgard. And it takes just a few moments as you're looking through them. You see Riker from the Tiger Tribe. You see Mira from the Elk Tribe. You see Ta'asik from the Thunder Beasts. You see Revna and Gideon and Edensaw and Najal. You see hundreds of your people bloodied, cut open. And as you look around, you are filled with this heavy dread as it sort of dawns on you that you are the last Uthgard remaining. And you look up to the heavens to try to find some guidance in the stars. and find that the skies are black.
Ooh.
You feel the weight of Uthgard gazing at you and knowing that you failed, that the golden path has been lost, that you are the last remaining Uthgard and the shame of the tribe that led them to this ruin. What's going through Goldbrand's head as all of this rushes through him?
Pizza crust out of my mouth for a certain time.
I was like, drink first, drink.
Very eloquent, Goldbrand.
Yeah. Like, I'm sort of split. So, like, in
Part
this
of,
moment,
I should
he
say,
doesn't.
part
like,
of failing the save is
he
that you do
believes
believe
this.
this.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's sort of what cause like he's done all these things. He that's what I was thinking. Is Devin knows that's not the case, but if he believes this, it's like being back in my fucking 20s. Goldbrand, not being able to see the stars, will flop down on his butt instead of falling to his knees. He'll sit down, one hand behind him, to prop himself up. Am I still old? Real.
You're old. You're older.
Oh
actually.
my! Oh my!
It's almost as if you sort of take a look at yourself, a little more wrinkled, a little more sallow, wiry, still not weak, but much weaker than you have been. It's sort of as if how you deteriorated these last 7 years had happened again. And as you scan about, you see your ancestral home burning. You see the tree that you gave life to at Stone Stand in ruins, splintered, enormous taloned footprints running rampant through Stone Stand. Your wife's grave cast asunder. And you hear the distant laugh. A laugh you've heard before of the hags that you fought, the hags that slew Hydia. And you hear this taunting. And as you see the spirits of Stone Stand rise and sneer at you and declare you the ruin of Uthgard, declare you the one that was supposed to save the tribe and led them to obliteration, you do not see your wife's soul. And as that laugh increases in the background, you realize that the sword that slew her never let her go. She is still captive, a pawn in a game to something that is vile beyond comprehension. The laugh grows louder and louder before you see a hag behind you, reaching out a gnarled hand, a blackened finger casting a spell you know well, preparing to aim at your chest. You have an instant to react before. What do you do?
Oh, he doesn't have the razor claw dagger. He'll use the sickle to try to cut off the hag's hand. I'm sorry.
You go to reach.
You know,
You go to reach for your belt,
defensive.
but the sickle is not there. Your axe is not there. The scythe. You are laid low. You have just your physical self.
It doesn't matter to him. He'll break her wrist.
Yeah, you go for a swing. Make a athletics check. And Barbara, make a
Boy.
strength saving throw.
Oh no.
Oh, shit.
I didn't want to ruin the moment, but would we know Goldbrand's going through some stuff?
Yeah, freaking out.
You don't really see, it's
Are you
right now. It
freaking
just
out,
seems as
man?
if you're wandering along. This is all happening sort of in an instant. Barbara, all of a sudden, Goldbrand, who's just before you, turns and swings at you, and he knocks you off the staircase, and you begin a free fall, a descent very rapidly to the bottom of this pit. The rest of you see this happen and have an instant to react. Goldbrand, make another charisma saving throw for me. Unfortunately, you all watch as Morningstar, at the head of the pack, turns and casts off a flurry of flames as What color would Morningstar's magic be? Arc?
Morningstar has a black fire.
Yeah, as a black fire energy congeals in his hands and he blasts off. And I'm going to need, I think this is going to be Davos. Those are both pretty decent. I think only one of them's going to hit. Oh, no. There we go. Does a 25 hit?
Yes, for now.
I need you to take 17 points of force
What the?
damage as you are blasted by Morningstar's magics. He's going to make another charisma saving throw. The rest of you, so Arcanox and Yuan, what do you do as you see Pandora begin to free fall?
I'm gonna just fly directly toward her.
Arcanox
Wings tucked.
leaps off
Right.
the edge, still in his pit fiend guise, and quickly rushes down and snatches her out of the air before she can fall too long. Barbara, when you were knocked down, I'm going to say that was a pretty shocking thing, very surprising. I'm thinking that you're going to have cried out, but I will allow you the chance to make a check to try to control yourself in that instant. You can try to persuade me what skill you would like to use, but if not, it's going to be a charisma saving throw. You're also on mute if you're talking. While we wait for
Whoops.
Barb.
Sorry. Let's see. I was thinking. Let's see. Shit. My high. I'm trying to look at my high rolls. Would a sleight of hand work if I'm trying to think if I ripped some of the fabric off and just as I'm falling tie it around so I don't instinctively scream as I'm falling, like gag myself essentially.
I think that's a bit of a stretch. Think on something else. You Davos, Morningstar has just peppered you with a bit of this black fire energy, and you see as his eyes were sort of a purpley hue, same as this mist, when they suddenly refocus. And he goes, I'm sorry, this place isn't meant for mortals. I didn't know this would happen. Goldbrand, the hag has dodged your blow and is coming in with another strike. What do you choose to do? In fact, a new figure appears behind you. A dark figure wielding a blade, and you turn and it's the blue worm speaker, and he takes his axe and raises it high. What do you do?
I was kind of hoping I could, recognizing that we all have immune to frighten, that it's probably a charm. Could I do a counter charm as an action? And I would give advantage to everyone who could hear me against frightened or charmed.
That is fantastic. Yeah, you most certainly could. Davos, out of a panic, pulls out his lute.
I would sing, for Goldbrand's sake, the last, I guess, or the song that we sang in celebration of taking down Alglotics when we got back to the pub.
Love that. Fantastic. Devin's going to make a check in a second with advantage. Barbara, what skill or ability do you want to use to stop yourself from screaming? If you can't think of anything, it's going to be a charisma save.
My last ditch effort is, could I perceive that Ark's coming to save me and I don't have anything to fear?
Normally, I would say no. However, you know your partner in crime. You have always had each other's back. I will allow that. Roll a perception check. Is that what you're asking?
Yes, we're soulmates.
Fantastic.
I know
Could it be at advantage?
Not this particular check. As you are hurling down, you have this sort of shocked inhale of breath, and you're about to scream before you realize where you are and what attention this will draw. And you turn on your back, and just as you're about to lose hope, you see Ark leap off the edge. And even in his pit fiendish form, as swoops down deftly and snatches you out of the air. Goldbrand, what do you do as Dimitri, wow, called you by your username. What do you do as the blue worm speaker attacks you?
When he raises his axe, Goldborn headbutts him because he don't has no weapons.
Yeah, make another attack roll for me. Unarmed strike.
No, it didn't roll to. There we go. It's
Does a
poison
19
because I
hit a
use
U1?
like.
It meets. Also, do we see him shadow boxing, or is he just like standing there like a zombie?
Oh no, he
Go
turned
ahead.
and like decked Barbara. Well, and now he turns to headbutt you. I need you to take 7 points of poison damage.
Technically, I don't have the
Um,
things on my head.
Like,
They're
I'm
from the.
resistant to poison.
Oh,
damage.
that's a
They're
good
from
point.
the
Yeah, so
gauntlets.
we'll call it bludgeoning damage.
Should have left it poison.
Sorry.
Goldbrand, you can make a new charisma save with advantage. Ah, there you go, buddy. Goldbrand, you cringe your head into the blue worm speaker, and as you do, it's almost as if glass shatters before your eyes, and you see Yuan clutching his head and bleeding slightly, and you realize you're back on the staircase. Arcanox rises up with Pandora in his arms, having saved her
Grumbling.
from... Yeah, Pandora's not too happy.
What the hell was that, Gully?
I saw a future that could have been, and enemies that apparently are not theirs. He looks at you on. What the fuck happened to you?
You have.
What a terrifying.
Yeah,
Morning
you
Star
think
will
so?
say, this place isn't meant for people from the material plane. It has a weird effect on us. I don't think that will be an issue again, but there's probably going to be other obstacles that we can't be prepared for. We just
Not a
have to
fan.
do our best to keep with it. Stay one step ahead.
Arcanox will kind of like walk past Morningstar and like kind of slap him on the shoulder and be like, "So how badly do you want to get out of here?"
He has some points. Not the first times that we've, not the first rodeos with that shit.
That does wonders to restore my confidence. Thank you.
Not the first time we've had to beat each other up. That one there got kissed into being stupid. Once at Davos.
I think he was stupid before.
Usually, you on we're trying to save people from.
So with the counter charm, it doesn't say like times per day. Would I be able to just like softly chant like Pippin in Return of the King style as we're walking?
I love the reference. I think as you get closer to the level 2, you're gonna realize it's gonna make you stand out a bit if the prisoner is playing a tune. You think that now that you've all passed the
just hum, sing.
We'll see. I'll tell you this mechanically. It won't. This particular challenge won't be an issue from this point on. If you choose to hum it as you travel, I think that's agreeable. But a humming happy prisoner might still be a little odd. I think it might bump up the deception check that you'll have to make.
I thought of it more
Not
of
you
like
specifically.
Pirates of the
If
Caribbean.
I
Dragon.
switch the
Girls.
tone of the song,
Yeah,
you know,
I
like
was singing. I'm about to
sadness
die.
about how I'll never
There's a
return to home. You know,
He's singing the pirate song. Yo ho, yo ho.
We'll see.
A pirate song for me.
As you all make your way down the staircase, you quickly come to the second level.
I was about to do it.
You quickly come.
Oh boy.
You are now in the gum, level 2. About 100,
No wonder we're
150
coming so
feet
quickly.
down. As
Coming the
you
gum.
descend, you realize that the name is rather apt, actually. Fleshy pink blobs with misshapen, anguished faces cover the walls. And by the time you reach the bottom, they cover the entire length of the cavernous walls that make up this chamber. These are lemures, I think is how you pronounce it. They are the lowest form of fiend. And they are specifically when something is just animated in the hells for the first time. it manifests as this horrific blob-like entity. Some of these are in various states of growth. Some of them are merely fleshy mobs with eyes and a single hand. Some of them are full torsos, but all of them reach out from the walls and are just like desperately like trying to get away from their hellish landscape. Anyone who wants to, or actually, 2 people can make a perception check.
I've got a good perception.
I think it needs to be Devos and Pandora, yeah.
Yeah, mine's 12.
So this will be a disadvantage.
For you, yes, sir.
All
Yes, sir.
right. Got a 27 and a 25.
25. Okay, fantastic. With a 25, you're going to notice quite a bit. As you're descending into this chamber, the first thing you notice is that it's unlit entirely. This place is dark. The only light that seems to be naturally occurring is the light from the lava that seems to drip down the sides from Bell's Forge. You also see one side where a bit of the river Styx seems to leak in, this thick reddish liquid. Arcanox, I will say specifically, as you're descending down into this darkness, it kind of occurs to you like as an afterthought, you have dark vision now. One of the perks of the Wormspeaker masks is that they give you dark vision. And
Great.
that is not, up until now, you've been the only one who hasn't had it. So it's kind of nice to have the whole squad be able to go, go in dark, as it were. With a 25, you're also going to notice this cavern has quite a few guards. You see a few hellhounds, a few chain devils. You even think you see a bone devil off in the distance, as well as a barbed devil and a bearded devil, just sort of scattered about. None of them seem to have particular interest in you. You are fiends bringing in new prisoners. But you also, from your extensive reading, get the sense that none of these types of devils would be in charge. Someone else is probably running at this level, as it were. With a 25, I'll also say, as you're descending down past some of these lemurs, you see one that looks a little familiar.
Uh-oh.
And you tap Pandora on the shoulder and point to it. Pandora, you see, and I've just blanked on his name, Armand Hammer, the Commodore, in a half-shapen, blobby form, stuck to this wall, trying to reach out to you.
Suck it. Spit on him.
Yeah. It sizzles from the intense heat.
Cut his hand.
Yeah, please. Arcanox, no roll necessary.
As a 15, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the Pit Fiend takes his weapon and cleaves off this arm, and the thing cries out in agony. And none of the guards bat an eye, because this is what they do. You watch as one of the chain
As yourself, Tom.
You watch as one of the chain devils raises its arm, 3 chains sprouting out of it, and it lashes the walls, hitting dozens of these things. Their job is literally to torture these fuckers. So yeah, not unusual behavior in the slightest.
That was cathartic.
As you all reach the gums, you recall 2 particular bits of information. One, that this is where Bell said that integrity might be housed. And B, that there is probably a higher ranking fiend somewhere nearby. With a 25, Davos, you're also going to pick up that there are screams emanating from various points of this chamber. You can see into a few of these cages. Some of them are bars, and some of them are solid walls. The 2 that you see most immediately, just over here to the right, I will say, Yuan can make a history check with advantage. And I think only Yuan. Very good. Yuan, you look at this thing, and you're unsure exactly of what it is at first. It has sort of this muddy brown skin, a towering humanoid. It is chained on both wrists to the walls, and there is one of those iron trees that the denizens of the Coward's Way had growing through it, not just pinned to it, but it seems to have been accelerated to grow through its body. and it is screaming in agony. You're not quite certain what it is until you hear the Jorn speak up, and it tells you, this is the Dao, type of Djinn from the Earth plane. Powerful, but tricksy. This one obviously has seen better days. Another figure that you all spot, to the far left, seems to be a drow woman. She's sort of curled up in the corner, away from the edge of the cage, as if trying to pull as far away as possible from those that would cause her harm. And as you enter, she turns, and you see that the entire left side of her face and arm are skinless, and that lying on the floor in thick ribbons is a purplish gray skin that once belonged to her. This is a dark place indeed. I will say that the final thing you're going to get for your 25 is that on the far side of the chamber, there is it almost appears as if what we would say an elevator. It seems to be a metal cage suspended by chains, hanging on the far end of the chamber. The ground before you is barred, but open to the bottom. How do you all choose to proceed about this chamber? Somebody do something?
Yeah.
Well, I think crossing over the lava is probably not going to be the best bet. Although, I guess most creatures would be immune to fire.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'd have to go around. That's a good point. We can walk over this, though. This is a cage in the floor. Am I understanding that did I catch that correctly?
It's sort of a grate. Imagine I would say not quite 1 foot, maybe 8-inch holes with thick iron bars. You could walk across it. It doesn't seem to be the way that most of the fiends are traveling, though.
They seem to be traveling around it, then I assume it is
probably
a circle of some sort.
So we either need to find the tiefling or the fiend running this floor, or both. Probably both.
Okay. Well, I can shadow step wherever I want at this point, but I don't want to just like go rogue. And
we need to
party. So
we need to follow the still disguised people.
Yeah.
I guess it's all of you except me and Devos.
Yeah, I'm still disguised at this point. I would propose that we turn around and go the way away from the lava, as to not have to try and cross that.
Okay.
Yeah, because, burning to death in lava is definitely going to blow our cover.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun.
Hello, little.
You make your way by. You see a fiend up here on the ledge, a smaller winged entity who rakes away at the lemures upon the wall. You see a chain devil with 2 hellhounds chained to it. And the chain devil doesn't give you much notice. But as you begin to walk by, the hellhounds take a sniff of the air. You gather that while you may look like fiends, you do not smell like fiends. Is there something that any of you can do to try to deter this?
Fart.
I'm gonna snarl at him.
I was actually sort of like,
make an intimidation check.
Goldburn assist. He wants to snap his head at them like a. He don't want to be verbal about it. His would be like
you can make a separate check, but I will warn you that might not go the way you want to. No, because you are a prisoner. You are not in a role to intimidate anyone.
The dogs don't know that.
Oh, they know who the prisoners are. So, both of you can make an intimidation check. What was that, Brandon? You kind of cut out.
If that fails the intimidation, can I act really scared and pee my pants?
Let's see what happens. Are you doing one Goldbrand or no?
So that's a 23.
Okay. Is there a reason you have advantage?
My white dragon mask.
I think that's only for. I think that's only against dragons. You have advantage on charisma checks against them. But still, 22, very solid. You snarl at the hellhounds. They scamper away. They have more than know the place of a pit fiend in this realm, and allow you to pass by. You come to the next room, and you cannot see in it. you see both a door and a sort of latched window, a smaller frame, probably about a foot long, maybe 8 inches high, sort of to check in on prisoners. Uh, the Chain Devil doesn't seem to say anything in particular, allowing you to continue with your prisoners as you see fit. He assumes that the Rakshasa and the Pit Fiends know where they're going. Where do you two? How do you all proceed?
Yeah, I
It's the
definitely wouldn't
thing.
want to talk to him because, like, there's no need. So, like, it would be sus.
The thing that we passed on the right, is it the thing you were talking about that has the tree growing through it?
Yeah, this right here. And I will make the. I don't know how I can make this much bigger. This is a
Yeah.
Dao.
Dow.
It's native from the Earth Elemental Plane. I think it's DOA, if I'm not mistaken. And they're classified as Djinn, like genies.
I think it's DA.
Might be that. You're right. I think you're dead on arrival, like DOA. But either way,
Yeah.
some variation. One of those two. What do y'all choose to do?
Well, we know the guy we're looking for is on this floor. I'm gonna act like I belong here, I guess.
Yeah, an Ice Devil. In fact, you would probably have been told by Bell. Ice Devils are not low-ranking fiends by any means. Of the group, besides the Pit Fiend, you might be the highest. Maybe the Rakshasa is slightly above you, but y'all are pretty close. Respectable fiends.
I'm gonna, because I assume the hole, like the window to peek through, is only openable from this side, because why would they be openable from the other side? So I'm just
Correct.
gonna walk straight up to it, open it up, and peek through to see what's in there.
Fantastic. Let me get to the right point here. You see, you open it up, and at first you think it's a lion. It has a feline body, wings on its back. And you start to think it might be a griffin before it turns and you see a humanoid face. This is a sphinx.
Ew, Sphinx.
And it is, as it moves forward, its rear legs are completely limp. Almost as if there are no bones supporting it from the rear. And you see on the floor bloodied bones that have been extracted from this entity.
Ew.
As it sees you, its face somber and sullen, it cowers away from the door, expecting you to be here to continue its punishment.
Oh, little Bella.
To really sell it, I'm gonna look at this guard over here to the left, and I'm gonna close the door behind me and say, "Incredible work with this one. Honestly, it's very nice."
Do you say that in common?
Oh.
I don't know. I think I would probably assume that most things here speak Infernal.
And you are the only party member that natively speaks Infernal. Fantastic. Okay. Yeah, you say it, and the Chain Devil will you said devil on the left. Are you talking about this one here, or are you talking about the one up top?
The one up top.
The Bone Devil kind of just chuckles and sort of rubs its hands together, almost insect-like. And with its hunched figure and its insectoid wings, it very much has that aspect. Another thing you're going to notice, because you fought one of these in the Shriekwood, is that this one is very well armored. And now that you've taken stock of that, all of the guards here appear to be very well armored.
Ugh.
You gathered that things here are better equipped than they are in certain other areas of the Hells.
Don't pick any fights. Got you.
You all come to the next area and see a red river. River is a strong word, a trickling, if you will, of red water from the river Styx before you. You also see another chamber to your right, and I believe this one is open, if I'm not mistaken. And you see wallowing in the back corner of this, as its head turns to you, an illithid. But this one seems almost feral. This mind flayer's eyes are milky white. It is like hunched, and rather than seeming to rely on its more psionic abilities, it is not floating, it is not adrift, it is like hunched and cornered, and it seems almost wild, like it has been mentally affected in some way.
God, we could affect the mind flayer that way.
One more time, Ben.
I said, what could affect an illithid that way? Jesus Christ.
I will allow Davos or Pandora to make a history check, or Yuan if he
Hey,
chooses
we ain't
to.
got no bona fide.
My history's +1, so y'all have fun.
What was that, David?
I said we ain't got no bona fide wizards. I was just kind of reflecting on like, there's not as
Oh,
far
yeah.
as classes go. We don't have anybody that would really
Bona fide.
know. Yeah.
Brandon
It's a
can make one. If
7 with this advantage.
you don't fucking know, dude. This thing seems fucking wild. You know, illithids are often like prized on their psionic abilities, and this one seems like mentally it's not like it's almost primitive. You're not sure what the fuck's going on with it.
I'm gonna need you
how
to
do you-
explain that to me later when it's not relevant, because now I'm curious.
When y'all finish this prison, I might show y'all some of the stuff that you don't see, because I don't know if you'll be able to see all of it. It's fucked. By the way, none of this is canon. Like, the maw in the book houses one prisoner. I decided to make it a full-blown thing. So a lot of this is just fucked up shit I thought of.
Get Joey therapy heard.
Just wait. You've only seen 3 things. As you carry on, how do you proceed?
I mean, I just addressed the Bone Devil. I'm just gonna walk around like I own the place. Just continue to press on past him.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Same. The most suspicious thing you can do is like,
Just keep strutting forward.
yeah.
You know.
You all walk on. And as you do, y'all step into the trickle of red water. You don't think much of it. And you see Morningstar's eyes kind of widen as he realizes you don't know, as he very deliberately steps over it. Can everyone make an intelligence saving throw for me?
Fuck.
No, not that one.
Fuck. I want to use a lucky point. I want to use a lucky point to re-roll that.
Dirty 20. Dirty 20.
Oh my god.
Got a 17.
I'm gonna use another lucky point. I don't
Oh
want
my
to know
God.
what this is. Oh my god, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Roll another
Okay.
17. Okay. So
That's not
Barbara and
terrible.
Archinox pass. Brandon, you said you rolled a 7?
17.
17. You also
17.
Pardon me. Yeah. Yuan and Goldbrand. Yuan, as you step in this, you don't think much of it. And you take another step. And you forget why you're here. You know that you're in the hell. You sort of know where you are. You gather it's a prison. But you don't know why you're here. And as you turn to look at your friends, you see Goldbrand and Davos, but you see 2 fiends with them in custody. Goldbrand, as you step through this, likewise, your mind gets fuzzy and distant. You remember getting to the Hellgate, but you don't really remember anything after that.
Friends, Alzheimer's triples.
And as you see yourself in chains, being dragged along by a Rakshasa and a pit fiend, what goes through each of your minds?
Oh no.
I don't know. I think I would look around, panic for just a second, take stock of everything that's going on, and try to decide if I should help the people who look like friends or.
Well, you recognize Goldbrand and Davos. You know
Right.
You know who they are because you remember them from before. But it's almost as if like the last few hours or days have been sort of scrubbed clean.
I think what I'm getting at is I would look around and assess my surroundings and determine if I should just immediately try to attack or pause for a second to see how things play out around me, because I realize that I'm somewhere that I probably shouldn't be.
Tell you what, we'll make a roll about it. Roll a d20. If it's a 10 or lower, you're going to have the instinctive reflex to fight. If it's above a 10, then you're going to have that moment to pause.
It's a 2.
You reach up, and I think instinctively you would probably cast a spell. Yuan is not a melee user typically, what would be your bread and butter just smack it spell? Doesn't have to be anything super powerful. Could even be a cantrip.
Oh yeah, I mean, firebolt's like it's one of the first things I learned. It's what I know.
And who do you use it on?
Mm.
You see the Pit Fiend and the Rixasha, as well as a
Oh, can
Bone
we?
Devil nearby.
Oh
But the
god.
Pit Fiend and Rixasha seem to have your friend.
I don't know. You want to? Well, I don't know. Do you want to leave it at the chance, or do you want to? I could pick a
Yeah,
target.
roll another d20. If it's above a 10, it'll be Arc. If it's 10 or lower, it'll be Barb.
Oh god.
You
Okay, this is good
flash
to
a
play
bit of
off.
fire, and it peppers across Arcanox. Roll some damage for that. Arc is resistant to fire, so he's only going to
Uh,
take half
I'm
of it.
I'm I'm immune now actually because I used the opal rune.
Oh, that's right. So it peppers off of him harmlessly. Arcanox, you see this happen, and you gather some more fuckery is going on. How do you choose to react?
I'm gonna kind of try to play this off and punish my prisoner for his insolence, and I'm gonna give you on a gut punch.
Well, Yuan is technically not a prisoner; he's an ice dip.
Oh,
But
that's
you can
right.
still choose to do that if that's your reaction.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna pull like fiendish hierarchy kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay, so you go for a punch. Make an unarmed strike for me. And I think Morningstar is going to try to help you cover, and he'll go as a horned devil. I have to keep in mind. Uh, oh, he was just joking. A little bit of pepper never hurts you. Uh, and roll some damage for an unarmed strike. Yuan's going to take a little bit of a punch.
Luckily, it's not
6
too crazy.
points.
Just
Uh, and as he punches you, I think Yuan, you notice that his hand clips through you a little bit, almost as if in a video game. The illusion of the slightly larger pit fiend gives way to scales beneath. And I think this is just going to be enough to sort of make you realize something's not something's not right. Something's not as it seems. At the same time, Goldbrand is going through this same process. Goldbrand, you don't know why you're in shackles. You and Davos have been captured by these things. You don't know what's going on. What are your instincts?
Do I have my sickle? If he has the sickle, he would try to use it to
Yeah, you
break
have all
his
your weapons.
chains. Like I think, like his response would be to draw the sickle and try to use it as like a big
You're
knife
going to
to
try to
cut
use
through
a
the
sickle
chains.
to cut through steel?
It is +3. It is magical, and I'm giant strong.
I
yeah, that's cool.
would allow it.
This chain
You
seems
draw
pretty
your
cute.
sickle and try to hack away at the chain. And as you do, the chains grow barbs as one of the chain devils nearby animates the chains within your grip. And it actually pins itself to the wall and pulls you back with your hands raised. And he goes, if you're going to be transporting prisoners, you need to make sure they are not armed at the very least. I'll take that. And he takes the sickle from your grasp.
Goes.
For the moment, unequipped that. About this
Could I
time,
message Goldbrand?
Oh, sorry.
yeah. They've had their initial reaction. You guys can interact. Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, I guess, if I'm tied up, hands behind my back, due to somatic components, and I would just message Goldbrand, what the hell are you doing? You're going to blow our cover.
Yeah. I would say with the attention focused on Goldbrand and the Ice Devil at the moment, there's a bit of an opportunity for you to do that without having to be too sneaky. But I do want you to make a stealth check at disadvantage. Well, I'll say the interaction with Goldbrand gives you advantage, so just a flat stealth check or a sleight of hand. Dealer's choice.
Oren has to do his best not to look very confused.
I already hit stealth when you said that, but it's the same modifier, 23 for a flat roll.
Very good. Yeah, you do not get noticed at all. Goldbrand, you hear Davos's voice pop in your head, and you have a moment to respond. Also, Kali. Sorry.
Yeah, she's being a bitch. Not entirely certain what they're talking about, but understood. If Davos isn't panicking, then Goldbrand won't panic. For now.
The Chain Devil begins to walk away with Goldbrand's scythe, which all of you know is a pretty powerful magical artifact.
Sickle.
Sickle, excuse me. Which all of you know is a pretty powerful magical artifact. He seems to be taking it to this chamber down south. You don't know what he's going
to. Could I theoretically hiss at him and be like, "Hey, that's a gift for Zariel"?
Certainly, yeah. Make a deception. Yeah, let's call it just a flat deception check.
That's a 20.
Hands off, scum.
It's pretty solid. He sort of sneers at you and goes, "If you're going to be entering into our prison, you best better make sure you're handling the prisoners properly. You can keep the damn scythe, but I expect them to be thoroughly disarmed before being deposited here."
You have my word.
About this time, there is a loud gong noise, a very deep, bassy clang that echoes out throughout the chamber. As it happens, a few devils step out from various rooms. You see a chain devil to the far side here, one over here, just before you, as well as an entity you don't recognize down below. I think that's how you spell this name. Emizu, I think is how it's pronounced. I'm going to drop this image in chat real quick so y'all can get a different visual. But it is a rather disgusting looking fiend. And Davos, I will say that you have done enough reading in the book to know that they are fairly high ranking. You gather this is probably the one in charge of this floor. And as it opens up the door behind him, you see a humanoid figure on a stake, which enters somewhere in their lower back and comes out through the center of their ribcage. And they are screaming as gravity is slowly drawing them down on this spike that gets wider as it goes. You gather this is one of the torturers or slave masters. I will also allow 2 people to make a perception check.
Oh, I love perceiving things.
Let's get a Barbara and we said Davos earlier. Davos, still a disadvantage, but
I'll probably also call out that
All right.
right time if we're gonna do one.
oh, you are correct. We'll finish one more thing and then we'll take a break. Thank you for saying that.
24.
24. Davos, as you see these entities come out, the chamber before you, you catch just a flicker of yellow within the chamber. Something surprisingly bright for such a hellish, dark place. And you gather this might be where your friend is. As this happens, the Amnesu turns to all of you and sneers in Infernal. "What are you doing in the gum?" And with that, we're going to take our break. We'll be back in 10 minutes. 11:15 for those of you on the East Coast. And we will see you shortly.
Oh, he died.
Wow.
We're sort of back,
Way
except
to
for
go,
Joey.
Camera on now.
It's working.
Sorry, my camera was being dumb, as it often likes to do. We are back into the Nine Hells of Avernus, specifically the Maw, the multi-layer prison in which the party is currently trying to infiltrate, to both free some old allies, potentially make some new friends, as well as stop the Red Worm Speaker in his home turf. Where we last left off, the party had just had a bit of a bout with the red water of the river Styx, realizing that it has some adverse effects for mortals. And the Amnesu had exited the chamber to the south, noticing the unfamiliar individuals within his chamber, and said, "What are you doing in the gum?" He begins to flap his it's almost comical. His wings are very small compared to his enormous body. They seem to have no issue allowing him to glide over towards you.
I'm a beautiful butterfly.
I'm gonna put my paw up as like a, not like a threatening way, but like a, oh, whoa there, buddy. We're on official business. I'm gonna yank Davos's chain a little bit.
And what business would that be? If you are within the gums, it is my business.
Well, these aren't your prisoners as a gift. We want to find ourselves in some good graces. We were on a personal mission to deliver these.
Sort of, he'll look at the two prisoners you have, and go, "These mortals will be perfectly at home here. I'll find you a cage. If they're all full, I can certainly have one vacated quickly enough."
This is not necessary. They are, remind me again the name we're going.
Enmity.
Enmity. Sorry, we have integrity and enmity. Enmity.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Enmity.
Pandora would not stutter.
Enema.
She's better speaking.
I got you, yeah.
I was gonna say, enmity would be very disappointed if you took her prey. His prey. The prey.
Zariel's
Their-
is the she.
Their prey.
Yeah,
Zariel's
Zariel's.
the she. Zariel's the she. Enmity. is the
Yeah,
plural.
Zariel's a she, Enmity is a he.
Yeah. We
As you
respect
say this,
pronouns here.
as you say this, he will say, "And what makes you think that these prisoners are worth his time?"
Ask for them by name.
We are famous.
He asked for them, and who would they be? He'll sort of sneer and look at you both.
Have you not heard the legends of the heroes of Nightstone? How many of our kind they have slaughtered? They are a threat to you and anyone around in the hells. They're kind of a big deal, and it's kind of a big deal that I have caught them.
You're not lying with that particular response. However, the overall story you're giving is a bit of a lie. Make a deception check, but I'm going to say that Morningstar chimes in when you say how many of our kind they've killed. Morningstar will chime in. Yeah, this one's the Dawnbringer. He's the one who killed Azazel. Sort of adding some credibility to your statement. Roll with advantage.
Thanks, Star. Nat.
Wrong one directly.
He sneers, goes, "Dawnbringer, the champion of a god. Certainly a valuable asset." And he takes one of his spiny fingers and sort of presses it into your forehead, Davos, forcing your head back to sort of get a better look at your face. Assessing you.
Gross.
With a natural 20. Very well. If you need to proceed lower, you know the way. And he vaguely gestures toward the metal box with chains suspended from the ceiling. And then he begins to make his way into the room with the dowel. Unless you say anything to interrupt him.
I hope not.
You notice that all of the guards seem, the ones who just exited the chambers anyway, seem to rotate to go into the next chamber to resume torturing a new prisoner. You hear the Tao screams intensify as you watch the chains be pulled tighter and tighter, the branches growing more through and anchoring him until one of his arms is ripped off and dangles loosely at the far end of the chamber. Does suck for him indeed. How do you all choose to proceed?
Would you say we're within earshot of other guards and stuff?
Certainly. I'll say that hearing this conflict and the resolution, the Bone Devil will drift a bit to give you a little more space, perhaps over here.
Right.
This Chain Devil on the far side, seeing that there is not a Chain Devil in your company, he will make his way over toward the elevator. The lift system, better word for it.
Say
Which
we
is where
kind of
we're-
just yeah, we kind of just pretend like we know where we're going. I think you're right, Barb, that we probably do need to go towards the lift because that's where we're going to go down theoretically.
I would just whisper to the group that integrity was in there. Not that I want to do anything about it just yet.
Give him some sort of pirate code for we'll get to that later.
You know thieves can't.
As no one else does though.
Yeah, that's true.
As you say that, Morningstar will kind of sort of lean in and say, I can throw this up on one other person. We need to. Referring to the seeming.
Is anyone around Integrity right now?
Not right now. A Chain Devil just left his chamber and then proceeded to make his way up top.
Can I assess the surroundings to see if that's something I could slip off and me and Morningstar could finagle into our group?
Make a perception check.
Wow, that's a nat 20.
Not only do you feel that the coast is clear, you even wait for a bit until the screams of one of the tortured prisoners rise to a higher pitch volume to allow a little cover for the sound it would make as you open and close these metal doors.
Right.
You think you could slip in fairly unscathed or unnoticed.
All right, let's, giving Morningstar some signals.
Yeah,
giving Integrity some signals.
He will slip in. In fact, with a natural 20 on your perception check, I will say you time it so well that I'm not going to make you make a stealth check for this.
Although I'd slay on it.
If another one of you would like to go in there, I will allow it with no check.
Davos was with
Ain't he my friend?
Yeah.
You're
buddy.
also theoretically a prisoner.
Yeah, but he is being escorted by a guard. It is unnoticed at this point. The three of them slip in, and you do indeed see Integrity. Let me make this image a little bigger.
Sorry, Joe.
What?
Nothing. We're posting gifs.
Oh, of course. A bright yellow-orange skinned tiefling, a long blonde golden hair, 2 horns that rise from his head. But where you're used to seeing a sort of soft and friendly smile, the form you see is oozing blood from the hundreds of hooks that are piercing his skin as he is sprawled out, hanging from the ceiling by these hooks.
Rough, buddy.
He has just finished a session of torture and as such, his body is laid low. He is not much of a will to live, and you gather as very much on the brink of death. Not fully there. They don't want to kill him. They just want to draw that process out as long as possible. I will even say with your natural 20 that he doesn't even notice you slip into the room.
I would, to not arise suspicion, would definitely put my finger up as like a and just kind of mutter, "We're here to help."
As he makes eye contact, a Rakshasa, a horned devil, in his chamber, and he almost reacts before another figure, a familiar figure. Davos slips in behind you. His eyes grow wide, but he tries to remain as quiet and as calm as possible. You will have to get him down from this situation. How do you choose to go about doing that?
I mean, I'm pretty acrobatic. Like, I can jump and finagle, I guess, if there's leverage, like climbing positions, things to climb.
Not much in the way of climbing positions. It's a, I would say you could climb if you were planning on taking the hooks out of the ceiling, for example, but I think you're probably better off taking the hooks out of him.
Fair. Well, I've got pretty good sleight of hand.
I will allow sleight of hand checks to try to remove them without causing more damage. I'll say that Morningstar and Davos even tried to get beneath him and raise him up a bit to where his full weight isn't on the hooks. Go ahead and make a sleight of hand check for me.
28.
28. Fantastic. Very deftly. A pirate most of your life, you have fished many a time. This is not so different than unhooking your catch of the day.
I'm sure I've accidentally hooked myself before and had to figure that one out.
It takes you very little time, less than a couple of minutes, before Integrity's body is, when you are finally done, sinks into Davos and Morningstar's arms. And he looks to Davos and he says, Dawnbringer, what are you doing here? This is a forsaken place. You shouldn't be here. You have to get out.
We're here to kill Immunity.
His face twists, and it almost a bit of shame. He is most vile. He enjoys twisting the knife, as it were, in those of us who have devotion, who have faith. He's tried for however long I've been down here, weeks, months, to break me of my faith, but I have not relented. But I know he has broken others. I worry what he will do if he is allowed to continue. I've heard he's taunted me with the fact that he has an angel of the Dawnfather in the chambers below. And I would think that she of all would be most devout, but knowing that Zariel fell draws everything into question. And Davos, I'm going to ask you to roll a flat d20. This is not for you.
Oh.
We didn't hear you, Devin. You were muted. I don't know if that was for us. You're still
Talking to
muted.
I'm mostly talking to myself. I was just laughing.
Okay.
Funny, we're going there next.
I got an 18 on the D20.
18's very good. He looks at you and he goes, however I can be of assistance, I will gladly, but I'm... And you look at him and he is exhausted in pretty much every sense of the word. He is bloodied and broken, and you don't gather in his current state will be much of an asset. You can certainly get him out of here and have him accompany you. particularly since you're so close to the lift, it might be easy to go unnoticed with an extra individual than you entered with, especially a motley crew such as yourselves. But it may complicate things if things go south.
Well, I mean, what the fuck is the alternative? They're getting tortured, so you
What I
know.
was thinking was using a charge from the harp, cure wounds first level, heal
No,
him up a little bit
you
while
certainly could roll
Morning
for that.
Star seemings him.
Yeah,
Right.
do that both show. He is fairly low.
It's gonna be a D8 plus 5, so that will be 4, 13 health.
13. That almost doubles his hit points, so that's pretty solid.
Jeez.
He is not quite he is about battered. He's about 25%. He was not at 1 hit point, for example, but he was very low. He you watch as several of these wounds mend, scab over, and he thanks you heartily and says it gives thanks to the Dawn Father that you have managed to find him. He goes, I've heard a little bit about what his plans are. They're trying to filter devils out of the hells, trying to get them to wherever they're bringing Tiamat back. They think if they have an army to stop us, that we won't stand a chance. I will gladly be of whatever assistance I can. And about this time, Morningstar will rub the stone on his pendant again. And I almost thought about making him a chain devil for irony's sake. However, he is going to become a bearded devil. And the reason I'm doing this is because Morningstar is smart enough to know that the lifts are operated by the chain devils. If they see that we have a chain devil who does not or cannot operate the lift, it might draw attention to him.
Fair.
So in his new guise, you all slip out. I'll allow y'all to ride on the coattails of that 20 one more time to not have to make any checks.
Yay.
You have successfully rescued the first member of your recovery mission. I assume you all make your way to the lift.
So, like
Yeah.
part of the way there, Goldbrand wants to kind of lean towards Davos. Dawnbringers, what the fucks are we doing here?
All right, you all make your way to the lift system, and
I guess
I
we'll
think
have privacy once we get to the lift.
you gather, yeah, a little bit of time to talk. You watch as Morningstar sneers at the Chain Devil. Send us down. And the Chain Devil brings the chains holding this massive metal cage to life. And as the doors seal closed in front of you, you begin to lower down. You are going to be going into Area 3, which I will remind you all is an area where you were warned they might be able to see through some of your disguises.
Oh, fun.
I will tell you that as Davos has spent quite a bit of his time researching the book on fiends, he will be able to identify when there's one who can see through you. So that'll make it a little easier. We're going to transition.
And while we're in here, I would just explain everything to Goldbrand, and I guess Yuan would overhear as well.
Okay. Oh, boy.
And I would remind them, yeah, level 3. They're supposedly going to see through our disguises.
Okay.
Well, we need
And
to
Tiefling here, Integrity is going to stand out like a light in a dark tunnel.
Oh, well, he's still seeming now. I hate that
But
he
he's
has to
saying
try to survive.
those who can see through it.
Yeah.
No, very fair
Well,
point.
when we
So do we just huddle close?
I was about to say, I like to think Goldbrand, not realizing he's already verbalized his plan, verbalizes his plan to try to bind one of these demons to his will. Unless anyone has a better plan, we'll pick the first one that could see through us. It might have legendary resistance or something. There's no way for us to know this ahead of time, so it's possible that it starts some shit. I want to be very clear about that. If it fails, shit may go real bad. If there are alternative plans, I'm willing to hear them.
While you're talking about that, I pull the book out of my coat and spin it on my finger like a basketball and just start whistling.
Excuse me.
And then I tuck it
What are you
back
doing?
in
Put that thing away.
and just look
But
at
that's
it.
like where it's from,
So-
help me.
But is that the plan? If we get caught, Yuan says, "Hey, you want this? Let us go through." Or do you threaten them with it? I don't.
I guess we'll have to find out.
Oh God.
Does that thing call to you
Are you
like
asking
a
Yuan?
precious? Yeah. Like when it's put away, is it begging for you to touch it?
You know all about that.
I would look at Davos and I would say, believe it or not, it's always on my person. It's always in contact with me in some way.
Right? Does it call to you to open it and read it?
I do feel urges sometimes. I mostly resist them.
Of the dark variety.
I get that. I get
As
those
you-
urges too.
As you are talking about this book, Yuan, it occurs to you that there is a lot of dark information in this book. And you recall that there are rituals to bind fiends that you could draw from. And there are also the names of some fiends, the true names that gives you power over them within. Now, this isn't a catalog per se, but it's just things that are popping in your head as you're contemplating the book in this space.
Okay.
Anything before the lift touches down on the next level? I'll say Morningstar will chime in. Well, wait, if he points to Brandon, if Davos knows which fiends can see through you, and you are the one that can bind a fiend, and both of you are prisoners looking like yourselves, maybe we send you two out first. This way, if Davos sees something that can see through, he can gesture to you, you can try to lock it down right away. Because if we walk out first and they see through us, we're not going to have a chance. I I know some fiends that can see through, but I don't have a categorical memory for it.
But wouldn't they see through all of us? Like,
But you and
if it's just us
Goldbrand aren't
two,
disguised.
they're gonna come get
Okay,
us.
so
'Cause
they
we
would-
look like escaped prisoners or something. But
Well, y'all will be chained still. You will step out first in chains, and we will follow. But this gives you first eyes on them, as it were.
yeah,
Two prisoners stepping off the lift isn't going to raise as much alarm
that's
as
what you're saying.
somebody
still
pretending to be
shackled.
a
Yeah,
nice
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goldbrand will nod. He understands the assignment. If that's what y'all want to do, if that's the plan, my armpits.
Is there anything you need to do to get ready, Goldbrand?
Goldbrand will prepare this. It only lasts 6 seconds. I guess not. I don't think so. I have the only spell components are 1,000 gold, which we have. So he'll just.
I guess if we can just poke our head, and then I could tell you,
Yeah,
hey,
he'll.
as soon as we turn this corner, boom.
Yeah, I was gonna say he'll watch you. I mean,
Morningstar will throw out one more thing.
One more thing.
We're just one more thing. All right, this next level is the teeth. This is where some of the higher level prisoners are kept. It's not a very big area, but the things down here pack a pretty mean punch. And as you come down, make a perception check. 2 people. Brandon and Barbara, since that's been our 2.
Okay. I was about to
Hell
ask
yeah.
if I'm allowed to.
Goldbrand's is plus 11 if it has to be Goldbrand, but
Plus 11's pretty
Yeah.
solid, dude.
Got a 20 with disadvantage.
+1 is worth it.
With a 22, that is exactly what you needed, Barbara. As you are descending, you're talking in this chamber, and it's sort of it's not a solid steel walls, it's see-through. And as you are discussing this, Barbara, you look out and you see that clutching to the walls are a few horned devils, seeming to be sort of midway between the two levels to help keep an eye on things. You gather that there are very likely more fiends hidden throughout here that you may not see at first glance. You all make your way down the next level. You want to slide to the right? Slide
to the right.
That's all real smooth.
Turn it out. As Goldbrand and Davos step out, you see two fiends immediately to your left and right. One of them, a chain devil, who seems to be the one operating the lift now that it's lowered so far. The other one is one you don't quite recognize. You haven't seen this one before. Want to make sure I get the name right. Orthon? I'll send you a picture real quick.
Right.
Like a freaking orthodontist in the teeth realm. That.
Yes, exactly. The most fearsome of creatures, the orthodontist. It is a pretty horrific figure. You see that its face is sort of a bear skull. Bear, B-A-R-E. And then with two massive tusks rising out of its face. It's huge, for one thing. A very hulking entity, not unlike perhaps a hill giant in size. And in one hand it has a crossbow, and in the other hand, a large crooked sword. It is, you know off the top of your head, neither one of these can see through your illusion. But you see at least one more of each on the far side of the chamber, where there seems to be another lift. You see 5 chambers along the way. As you enter out, and the chain devil sees you stepping out with humanoid prisoners, he will question you. He's like, "What are you doing? These do not need to be here. Humanoids stay to the top. You should know this."
These are a special treat for enmity. Requested by name.
He leers at them. You say the same thing of the Dawnbringer, and he make a new deception check for me. Flat check.
I love deceiving. Let's see, where's the
Remember when you
here
sent
I
all
go
those
lying
luck
again.
points?
Here I go
Ooh,
lying.
there you go. Remember when you sent all those luck points, Barbara? That's going to come to bite you in the butt, I think.
Oh
but
my
not
God.
yet. He sort of gives you a sneer. He goes, "Fine. Be quick." And as you wander down, you see 5 rooms here. You're not certain what's in any of them, but you do hear screams coming from one of them.
I mean, that's new. We're in hell.
You are correct. And yet it's odd. The rest of these chambers seem silent, except for this middle one, where you do hear a high-pitched, ringing scream. And I think you would recognize it as Celestial again, because you've heard now the mummy scream as well. The trick is, how are you going to try to get in there without being noticed by any of the other guards here?
God.
How many guards are there, and where are they looking?
You see at least 4. You see 2 Orthons, and you see 2 Chain Devils. This is not a very large space, so they are not as easily distracted as some of the ones up top might have been. You also know that, or I imagine Barbara informed you, that there are some horned devils clinging to the walls above, so you've got at least 6 pairs of eyes on you.
This one's not going to be as easy to check out.
I'm vaguely tempted to just sprint in there, bind whatever's torturing her, free her, and then kill everything on the rest of the way through. But I'm not certain that one. Just
plan.
saying, it's an option. Yeah. Bold move, bold strategy, Cotton. I'm not sure how to get over there with him noticing. I have passed through the trace.
You do. Morningstar will kind of whisper, what if you could try to talk your way in? I don't know what you would say, but if, maybe you need to speak to who's in charge. I mean, none of these guys are running the show here. Maybe that'll get you at least in the right direction.
Maybe try to bind that particular one. I assume. I don't know. I'm suspicious. The thing we want is in there with the solar. Something scary is in there with the solar.
Yeah. You do
I
hear
would
it
say
now.
in common, didn't Enmity want that celestial too?
Aren't you a prisoner?
Yeah.
I mean, I could say it. Is that something?
I mean, I would
Enmity
not
would,
necessarily to the guards, but to
Yeah, just
not being
aloud.
quiet. But
I will need a deception check, Brandon, at disadvantage. I feel like that's something very out of character for a prisoner to be like, hey, don't we need another prisoner?
I'll allow it.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. A 24 on the first one and a 25. So a 24.
Very
Yeah, buddy.
fucking good. You say it, and the Chain Devil kind of cocks an eyebrow and seems to shrug it off like, well, more people to beat, less damage for him. Okay, makes sense. And seems to accept it more or less. But he does not volunteer the information, least of all to you, a prisoner. But Brandon has given y'all an opening if someone wants to follow up on it.
I guess I could just inquire. So who do you what poor soul do you have in I was trying to think of something clever. What poor soul do you have
The
getting
break.
tortured today?
Chain Devil again kind of looks a little odd. The only one receiving punishment on this floor is the Seraphim. Middle chamber there with the Aragnets. All the other ones are just on lockdown.
And that's not one you've given to Enmity yet?
And then he's had his fun with her. He's nearly clipped her of her wings. You know how he enjoys drawing out breaking the particularly pious, pompous sons of bitches.
Do you think it would give Enmity great joy to torture both it and this Dawnbringer at the same time? And kind of yank on Davos's chain.
He goes, that's out of my pay grade. We'll have to speak to the Aragnets if you want that type of clearance.
Where might I find them?
And he sort of nods his head toward the door where you hear screaming.
For y'all that
All
don't
right.
remember, the Aragness is that the demon lady we fought very early on that had the whip, right?
Yeah.
Is that one that's gonna see through our guys?
Davos would know, yes. Yeah, they do have true
fuck.
sight.
Well, it sounds like he's just gonna let us go in there so we can do what we planned to do earlier, which was walk in, hopefully try to bind the Aragness, and then free Solar.
All right, fam. Shit's about to hit the fan. Let's go.
Alternative is to kill it. Because if it doesn't work, we'll probably gotta kill it. Yeah,
So
shut the
no one
yes, exactly, shut the door.
As you as you walk over, Morningstar gives you all a bit of a nod, like he's gonna try the same tactic. He opens the door and shoves Goldbrand and Davos in first.
Lols.
And I'm sorry.
Lols. I was laughing.
Lols, okay. Before trying to quickly follow in after you. There are quite a few of you, however.
Oh.
What you see the Solar, a very angelic figure under normal circumstances. Her wings shredded, bones broken, her pure celestial blood splattered across this entire chamber.
That's pretty rough.
you see swords and axes and knives all bloodied around this station as the Araignes very meticulously is digging her sword into the ribs, puncturing the lung, making them drowned in their own blood, essentially. And as these two figures are shoved into the room, she snaps her head around sneeringly, wondering who is interrupting her session. And as she sees the two humans in chains, and then the illusion of fiends behind them, you have just a moment to react. What do you do?
So,
All right, y'all, your time to shine.
yeah, I do have a confession to make, and I did not see the casting time for the spell is an hour. So
Oh, no!
oh, it's okay. I have a backup plan. I'll use polymorph instead. It's sort of functionally the same thing. So Goldbrand will try to polymorph her, and Planar Binding's not concentration. I can theoretically cast it while she's polymorphed, and maybe get it off that way, but we'll start with polymorph because I misread the spell.
Oh my god, the intensity. All right, let me pull up the Araignes stat block.
I'm like, listen, my butthole wasn't.
Do I
covered
have
in
my
enough,
scythe back?
Yeah.
My
we grabbed
sickle
it.
back?
Barbara did. I imagine in the chamber she would give it back to you.
Okay, that should be a 22 DC.
Oh, very important distinction. The Araignes does have advantage on wisdom saving throws. She has advantage on all saving throws against magic. She is proficient in wisdom saving throws. She gets a +6. In other words, I'm going to roll 2 dice. If either one of them is a 16 or higher, the spell fails. I'm going to roll this in chat.
I am, if you want me to mark it, I will. Probably gonna woe. Like, I'm just gonna call it now.
Let's see what she rolled. One of them is a 16, which barely meets. Woe will automatically get her at least 1 down and make her fail. Mark off the woe.
Indeed.
What do you turn her into?
Oh, fuck.
That's
It's always a turtle, yeah. Goldbrand turns her into a turtle and then hustles into the room to pick her up as a turtle. And then he'll sit on his ass and start casting the Planar Binding spell, if you will allow it.
You said it takes an hour?
It does. I need to see how long
Okay.
polymorph lasts.
I think polymorph is also an hour, but
It is concentration up to an hour, but Planar Binding is not concentration.
which is good.
Let me put this in chat.
In theory, there is a 6-second period where she will turn back into an Araignes. We'll burn that bridge in a second. You watch as the Araignes turns, sneering, and as she begins to call out, Goldbrand says a word in Bothi and rushes his hand forward, and you watch as this winged woman snaps into a much smaller form, and a round turtle shell hits the ground spinning. Morningstar very quickly ushers you in and closes the door behind you, where you are all now in the chamber. The angel before you is bound to the table and not doing well. She is in a bit of confusion herself. You see that her eyes have actually been gouged out. As she opens them, there are hollow sockets. She cannot see you, as it were. How do you all react? Or what do you choose to do?
I can speak Celestial, and I'll just, all Lord of the Rings style, speak friend and enter.
You speak Celestial?
Well, I have that spell. Does it apply to all
tongues.
languages or just Infernal?
It's any language.
It's all languages. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say it
Period.
in their native tongue,
Very nice. No, yeah. I'm gonna put Goldbrand in the corner with his turtle.
Goldbrand and his turtle.
Strawberry turtle because strawberry. As it hears this, she begins to again try to seek around, try to listen, try to find out what's happening. Somebody's talking to her in a tongue that she has not heard since she has been here in the Hells. Who are you? What do you want with me? What have you done with the Araignes?
Asking a lot of questions for your rescue party.
Rescue party? What do you mean? What's happening? Who are you? Who are you Who are you for?
We are the Lords of Nightstone, and we have come to smite our foes and kick rocks, I guess.
And be I friend or foe or rock?
Absolutely a friend.
Tell him we come with the Dawnbringer.
Oh yeah,
Go rest
we
chanting,
got the Dawnbringer
theoretically.
right here. I mean, you know.
Hearing that, Dawnbringer, the champion, speak if you are here.
Yes, I'm here. And I would gently touch her hand.
She
It only
winces.
hurts when you touch it.
She winces, not so much from pain, but just she has been tortured over the course of however many months she has been here, and is just highly distrusting. But hearing your voice, feeling your hand, she goes, if you are truly he, show me a sign. Prove to me that you are the champion.
Would greater restoration restore her eyeballs?
I would allow it to cure blinded, yeah.
I love how
Then
annoyed
I
you
would.
sound with that, Tepos.
I would cast a 5th level greater restoration to give her eyeballs back.
What does it look like as you do that?
I imagine, kind of like most of my stuff, my chest might glow a little bit with the light of Lathander, and then kind of swirl around her head, slowly building her eyeballs back, atom by atom, molecule.
Davos makes his way to the head of the table and sort of rests her head in his hands. And again, she's very tense, very jumpy. And as she feels the warmth, as your amulet begins to glow, the light washes over her. And you see as she is made whole again. And as she opens her eyes and sees you, she begins to weep. I imagine that Morning Star will help with removing her binding and allowing her to rise to a seated position. She is very much as Integrity was, in brutal shape. Well, she will say, Morning Lord be with you, Dawnbringer, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I thought I was forgotten in this godless place, but I'm glad to see that our Lord has sent you.
We didn't just come for you though.
Why
Came
else
to
would you?
take down Emily. Anemone.
She shudders a bit, and at first it's discomfort, a bit of lingering resentment, but you see it build into a bit of fury, for lack of a better word. She goes, that monster has destroyed hundreds of us. He thinks himself some kind of sick and twisted breaker who he is the one who convinced Asmodeus to corrupt Zariel. And I thought he might do the same to me. I didn't know what was going to happen to me, but I'm glad that you came. I do not know what help I can be in my form, but I know that if you were here, the Dawn Father is with us. And of that, I am certain. She reaches out, and almost as if with a fondness, gently lifts up your amulet. And as she does, it once again begins to glow. This bright, bright light, strong as sunlight. And as it does, she goes, I cannot be of much use to you in this form, but I can lend you my strength for what you have to face ahead. May the Dawn Father take me into his embrace and keep both of us safe. And as she says this, she herself begins to glow. Before, just as you rebuilt her eyes, atom by atom, molecule by molecule, she breaks down into molecules, little motes of light that rush into your amulet. You gather she is not broken down permanently. This is merely a way for her to lend her strength without being a hindrance. I will tell you that you are going to get a permanent buff from this. You all watch as the amulet again glows brighter than it ever has before, the entire room becoming a blinding white light. And as it flashes, and all of you turn to face him again, you see the Dawnbringer with two enormous angelic wings on his back. Davos, you feel the strength of this angel lending itself to you. You feel the sword of your father purified by your hand, the sword of Azazel purified with the blood of your love. You feel empowered in a way where you are more resilient. You are stronger. You are more capable than ever before. While you have honed and purified these weapons, you yourself have been honed and made a weapon of the Morning Lord. And he's about to send you against your greatest challenge yet.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, indeed. You have this. I haven't finished this feat, but I'm going to send it to you. It will not be relevant for today's session. But as the solar is absorbed into you, for lack of a better word, few moments pass and Goldbrand completes his ritual. Goldbrand, will you drop the spell you're using in chat, please? Oh, I'm sorry, you already have.
Yeah,
Just kind of imagined everyone looking at Davos with his wings and him just being like, what?
Yeah, and do we not? Are we like? I guess it depends on whether or not Goldbrand knows how long his spells last. Because theoretically, do we get to hold an action for when she goes unpoofed?
You could.
I was about to say, I would like to hold an attack.
Yeah, you all. Goldbrand says, "In the moment, the turtle will be no more turtles." And you all gather around.
Goldbrand is preparing that spell though that you're reading. That's what he's gonna try to do.
Yes, I will tell you. So there's going to be one round. I will allow us to make initiative check just to see who gets to roll before she does. Well, I guess it's more just Goldbrand.
Rip.
Goldbrand, if you will roll initiative.
Rip. Yeah.
And I only want to attack if his thing doesn't work.
Well, she's going to go before he is. She's going to poof and have a moment to react before she is bound. All of you can ready an action in advance. So you can choose to do something, but keep in mind, you are in the middle of a prison, and if you cause a little too much ruckus, it might draw attention. What do you choose to ready? I can think of two particular things.
F it, I'm gonna do it. I have a charge of Dominate Monster that I would like to try and ready.
Oh, very nice. A charge of Dominate Monster.
Correct. I will also make it heightened when it happens so that the creature should have disadvantage, which I think should make it flat.
Fantastic. Let me read something real quick. Very good. Okay. Fantastic. Okay, we'll start with that then, because your ready to action would go before she would. What is the save on that? Wisdom?
Yeah, it is wisdom. Is it my DC or the? It has a different one written than what mine is.
If yours is higher, use yours.
Okay. Mine's a 22.
For
22.
what it's
So
worth,
again,
I'd like to block the door.
okay, yeah. Pandora posts up at the doorway. Very smart. Again, she's gonna have 2 rolls because she has advantage on saves. You're
Well,
in
I made it
heightening it, so it's
heightened,
gonna be a
so,
flat.
yeah.
If she rolls above a 16, excuse me, a 16 or higher, it will be unsuccessful. She fails. You watch as the turtle swells in size to this angel, and Yuan speaks but a single word, but it is not in his voice.
Ooh,
It is a much deeper,
spooky.
darker, hungrier voice.
Ooh.
And in this instant, as you command her, what do you tell her? What is your command or instruction that is your somatic or
Go on now, get.
I get to speak 3 words, so man, I'm not gonna grandstand as much as I want to. I'm just gonna look at her and squint, and as I do, like I imagine the black veins around my eyes sort of grow, and it almost feels like the room is getting dim and dark, as all she could do is focus on my eyes the minute she poofs back. And I just point to Goldbrand and I say, "Submit to him."
Ooh.
You watch as the Aragness's eyes grow a similar black to reflect your own. Her mouth, which was open in an attempt to scream out, closes obediently as she turns and kneels at Goldbrand's feet. And in an instant, she's not even going to make a save against this because she has been commanded to submit. You watch as Goldbrand finishes this. Runes seem to burn their way into her flesh along her arms. And she is bound to obey Goldbrand for an hour.
No, sir. 24 hours.
Oh, it's a casting time of an hour. You are
Yes,
correct.
sir.
Sorry.
And unlike Dominate Monster, they don't make the thing again when they get damaged that I can see.
Yeah. Yuan, as you command this entity to submit to you, it feels great. It is power unlike anything you've ever had. You think of when you fought the Pit Fiend with Tabitha and how brutal it was to try to face it. You think of fighting it and the Bone Devil and the Aragness. And to have this level of control, it's very
Yuan's gonna be
tempting.
the final boss, dude.
You want add an hour to whatever your progress is in the book. Tapping into it for the charge is slipping just a little bit more down that slope. I think this puts you at 29, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think I don't know where I don't see where it's actually listed at. Hang on. Wait, no, here it is.
It should be in the notes of the item.
Yeah,
Or it might be under the feed.
29.
Yeah. One more to go. Well, one more for a new effect. As you have this Aragness at your disposal, and she looks up to you, Goldbrand, and goes, "What is it you wish?" She says with a heavy reluctance.
Interesting.
You
Sorry,
wish for me to be interesting.
I just read the part. If it carries out your constructions completely before the spell ends. Okay. You will serve me and my comrades until the end of your binding. You will do us no harm. You will do your best to enable us to get out of here safely, including the tieflings over there. And you will revel in the blood of our enemies. It's the best part, really. You will do nothing to attempt to impede us in getting out or slaying the Duke Enmity. Is that clear?
I do love reveling in blood.
Perfect. We already have common grounds. Isn't that great?
What about Baphomet? Who makes me want to Baphomet?
Shut the fuck up.
Stop. You will do nothing to impede any plans of this group's, and you will endeavor to help by any means necessary.
How can I know not to impede your plans if I do not understand your plans? Please, enlighten me, so that I may better serve you.
I doubt it. You will do as you're told.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll see.
Oh man.
The
Or-
power trip the party's getting from this.
We'll see. I don't trust it. I've tried to be very clear with its commands, its instructions, without them having a very definite end. For now, you'll follow us.
I think Morningstar will be like, "Oh fuck, no, this is great. Like she's the one in charge of this level, unless I'm mistaken. I mean, you can,
Okay. Oh, okay.
I guess, have her
and-
do whatever you want."
Mm-hmm.
I feel like with the power trip, I want to grandstand us a little bit, so I'll walk over and like lightly place my hand on her head as I look at Golbram, and then look down at her and say,
You place your hand on her head and she snaps at you. She doesn't hurt you, but she does. She is no longer under dominate monsters. Only a single command, right?
right. I mean,
Yeah.
well, it's for the hour, but I think I would have dropped it to let him finish what he was doing.
Is it not like dominate creature where it's like once they complete the command, it's over?
No, it's like a
it
charm.
lasts for an hour.
Oh.
But I can give additional commands.
Drop that in chat for me.
Okay. And as that's
If it's
happening,
still
I'll look at her
working-
and I'll yeah, because it's a concentration for me, so I don't know if they can stack. Is what I'm getting at. I assume that mine would have dropped when his proc, but
If you
didn't that
independently or if you are independently,
what the?
that's like you're trying to roll it. Do the display to VTT.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Concentration up to an hour. Turn value for the duration. Creature's charm. So when it takes damage, it will have to make wisdom saves against yours, but not against Goldbrand. Very nice. Okay. Fantastic.
Anyway, I'm gonna belittle her a little bit is all I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
look at her and then look at Goldbrand, and I'm gonna say, she thought that she was the most terrifying thing on this floor. Pathetic. And I'm gonna look at Goldbrand and say, you should tell her to call off her dogs and allow us to walk freely.
You see she is grinding her teeth. She is furious.
Other things on
I
this
see her
floor.
grinding her teeth. I'm like, no, it's okay.
What was that, Devin?
Are there any other things on this floor as powerful as you? Oh, I guess you may not have to be truthful with me. Tell me about anything else on this floor that is as powerful as you.
There are 4 other prisoners on this floor. There is a dragon from the Astral Sea. There is a Tyranny, a young Kraken, and the champion of the Demon Lord Yinogu. Yinogu, I think is how it's pronounced.
Okay, those all sound like prisoners.
They are.
Do as the half-dead man said. Do not allow anyone to bother us. We are going to the next floors. You are coming with us.
Do as the half-dead man said.
Sorry. Which was call off
She
their
steps
dogs.
out. Yeah, I was about to say she steps out. Dogs, go off! And the 4 fiends sort of look at her, kind of perplexed. She seems to be obeying you to the letter, He said to say what he said. She does not make move to alert them, but she has drawn attention to the chamber. I'll say, one of the chain devils goes, "What do you mean? We are not hounds. What will you have of us?"
Tell them you are going to the lower levels, and you are not to be disturbed.
I am going to the lower levels, and I am not to be disturbed. She makes her way.
We should go out with them. Goldburn kind of gestures for them to walk with her.
Davos almost steps out, not really thinking of his transformation before Morningstar catches you on the shoulder. Says, "Whoa, hang on there, big guy." And he rubs the stone again, and you look as you did when you entered, a normal prisoner. As you all
So wait, I'm
emerge,
permanently transformed with those wings?
you have permanent wings, yeah.
Sweet.
As you all step out, she begins
So I
to
mean, I have a
make her-
fly speed?
You do, yeah. It's a pretty high fly speed too. I'll get you the feet in a second. It won't be
All right.
pertinent for today, but you all make your way down to the chamber to get into the next lock, the next lift. The Ravenous nods at the chain devil, who animates the chains, and you begin your descent to the fourth and final level. On the way down, is there anything that you wish to do?
If we see an opportunities, I can change and bind another demons, assuming we can. Opportunities being the key word. So if we see an opportunity that maybe we can gank one and sit for an hour, we should consider it. But it's possible they won't be far enough apart. If that's the case, maybe we're just gonna end up fighting. I don't know. Oh.
I don't know if
We
we'd
need to-
have another hour.
We need, yeah, same. That's what I'm worried about. We need to tell the Aaron, yes, like what to do and what to say when we get down here.
You're in charge, boss man. I think you mentioned that I wasn't here for last session. You mentioned that one of the people entered the ethereal plane in the last session.
Yes. One of the Narzugon, think like Nazgul. Its nightmare has the ability to fade it and up to 3 other creatures into the ethereal plane.
Cool. I am going to cast See Invisibility, which allows
Not a
me to
bad
see
idea.
invisible things and things that are in the ethereal plane for an hour.
Very nice.
I'll drop that in there so it burns spell.
As soon as
That's
the
all
lift
prep I'm
starts,
gonna do.
as soon as the lift starts going down, Gorban will turn and look at the Aaron. Yes, he will say, "You will not compromise our goal to get to the." I'm so sorry, I keep forgetting the name of this maze.
The Everlost.
The Everlost. You will not compromise our attempt to get to the Everlost. You will do everything in your power to aid this endeavor.
I will do as I am told.
When we get here, you tell them that these 2 prisoners are destined for the Everlost. You tell anybody who asks, these 2 go to the Everlost, on the Enmity's orders. Colbrand somewhat poorly repeats the spill that Pandora's been using about them being the Dawnbringer and the Lords of Nightstone.
Okay. As you are descending down, you notice as the chamber opens up a bit. You have been going from a broad rift sort of to a narrower chamber before. Now you seem, it's almost as if you've broken through the bottom of what would have been the Grand Canyon and into a cavernous area beneath. The temperature begins to climb and the area around you become more light. As you all arrive at the fourth and final level of the pit. The lift comes to a halt as it reaches the bottom, and the door is open. She steps out, and I'm going to give you just a quick glance around. Actually, 2 people can make perception check.
You know who it is.
You already know.
You know,
Go
My
ahead and roll.
PP is pretty high too.
31.
31's
Jesus Christ.
pretty fucking solid.
I don't think I'd be able to beat that with disadvantage. 21.
With a 31, Barbara, you notice quite a bit. The first thing you clock is that there are 6 adversaries in this room. You see 4 ice devils, these little weird insectoid things that your friend Yuan is currently cosplaying as. 4 of those, as well as 2 pit fiends. Each of them armed to the teeth. You also pick up on the fact that this room seems to have 4 very unique structures in each corner. And this corner up here, you see what appears to be almost a small sun. A brilliant orb suspended a few feet off the ground. Down across the way, you see, with a 31, you see what appears to be an ooze or an elemental or something like that beneath 2 small waterfalls of lava. Steam rising off of it in thick cloud. To the bottom right over here, you see it almost looks like a darkened glass orb. But with your 31, I will say, you see that it's a one-way mirror. Everything on the inside is reflected, where you can see into it. And within it is a snarling beholder, imprisoned in this mirror ball. The last thing you notice, the last prison you notice is a small, tiny maze, no more than 10 foot from side to side, just over here in the corner. From your current vantage point, you can't see into it, but you gather that matches the description of the Everlost closely. You also, with a 31, are going to see that there is a vacant throne atop a waterfall of lava at the very head of this chamber. A thick, oozing veil of magma sliding down this cliff face, falling some 20 some odd feet before it joins the pool at the base. You do not see enmity. You do not see a dragon. At the moment, it appears as if it's just the 6 guards and the 8 of you now. We're going to stop in just a moment, but we're going to get just to the next point. As you enter, the pit fiends will come forward. Davos will know that the pit fiends outrank the Aranyes. And she says to them, "These prisoners are meant for the Everlost. Enmity's orders." Precisely as she was instructed to do so. The pit fiends turn to look at each other. "Enmity did not tell us we were receiving prisoners today." How do you react?
Well, obviously, he didn't trust you with this special clearance.
Make a, I almost want to say make a persuasion.
You're just trying to get me to roll one of my lower numbers.
Well, I almost said make a performance check, but it's not quite performance.
Can I add something to that, being a pit fiend myself? Or looking like one at least?
You can, yeah. Well, actually, I will pause for 1 second here. They are speaking in Infernal. They were addressing devil to devil. Actually, no. She spoke in Common to them. Because that is what she was told in Common. And I think that Goldbrand, you might clock that that's a little bit of a red flag for the guards. That's not how they would normally talk to each other, as it were. But since the conversation's in Common, yes, Argonox, you can contribute something if you wish.
Well, I was just gonna go along with what Pandora was saying. Just be like, apparently, yeah, you don't have the clearance.
There's one pit
Yep,
fiends
as of-
to another. Barbara, persuasion check 23. I will say that with Ark's contribution, you may make that with advantage. So roll one more time for me.
All right. Wow, that one was a 20.
Ooh.
But it's,
Only a dirty 20 within that one. The pit fiend leans in at you. And even as a Rakshasa, you are not taller than you typically are. This thing is looming some 12 feet or so.
Yeah.
And looms over you. And says, I'm trying to remember exactly what she said now. Obviously, you're not trusted with this information. Trust has little to do with it. Our orders are clear. And the other one will look at you, Argonaut, and go, oh, before this. I'm sorry, I've got to retcon just a second. Davos, as you all exit the lift and see the pit fiends, you know immediately that they see through illusions.
oh, shit.
I will back us up just a second to where y'all have just gotten off the lift, but that is a big red flag. And that is where we will stop tonight's session. As you all realize you are in the pit with two fiends who know exactly what you are.
Some bullshit's what it is.
Thank you very much for joining us. We will resume not next week, potentially a couple of weeks. We shall see. The holidays are weird. In the meantime, take care of yourselves, love one another, and keep rolling. Catch you next time.